All right, how's it going, guys? So I actually just finished my playthrough, but I thought of a couple of things that I thought it might be good to put out front of the video. So I think I'll post this first, and then we'll get to the actual playthrough. So first of all, welcome. Thank you for watching. And second thing is, I know this video is going to have a long runtime. I didn't total it up yet, but I know I did it in a few chunks, and it's going to be a long video. And so I don't want you to look at the length of the video and how long my playthrough took here and think that that's going to be a good example of how long your plays are going to be, because this was a long game for me because I was talking through everything. I try to talk through not only my turns and tell you my rationale for what I'm doing, and the logic behind what I'm doing, and talking you through my decisions, but also I was trying to teach you some of the systems and the rules as I was going, and so I was explaining everything. And so I just don't want you to be scared away thinking that all your games are going to take that long. The game can go long, especially if you're going for one of the more complex characters. Like Mender really cares about, the Mender profession really cares about your sequencing of how you're discarding cards and stuff, and so that can be a really intense puzzle that takes a lot of thinking and pre-planning. But if you're playing one of the lower complexity luminaries and professions, and especially if you're taking on the greed shade, the greed boss, that boss by nature is designed to be a little bit shorter of a game. So my average games still are typically about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending again on the complexity that I'm taking on and if I'm playing against greed or one of the longer shades. I think there are some play testers who, if they're playing that faster loadout, they can get a game in about an hour, if you don't count setup and teardown. But we have had games go quite long with, imagine a Wisdom Mender game. Those are the two most complex characters. That can exceed 2 hours pretty easily. So yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to tell you, is just address the runtime of the video, because that would scare me away if I didn't know what I was getting into coming into the game. And the other thing is, I know I make some not rules mistakes, but I miss some triggers and things. I know I watched part of it and I realized that I should have added some obstacles moving away from a location, and I failed to do that. And then the other thing is, I didn't do any search actions, and I don't know why it left my brain as I was playing, because normally this is a vital part of the game. And so I just, from a strategy standpoint and understanding the game, I want to make sure you should do these. So the beacon mat has the ready side, and it has the exhausted side, and this is from a search action. If you have beacons saved and you flip the beacon mat once per location, you get to add paths equal to the number of beacons you have saved. And there were a couple of times where I had one beacon saved. It was just it was a light beacon game. The way the travel worked out, I just didn't have much. Anyway, I never had many beacons saved, so I guess it makes sense that I didn't do the search action. But those couple of times I should have done it just to add a path, because the paths reduce the distance on your travels, even though every 2 paths will add a threat token at the destination. But if you have an odd number of paths, or an odd number of beacons, it tends to be in your best interest. Like if you have 1 beacon or 3 beacon, just strategy spoilers there, sorry. It pays to do this search action just to add paths to the location. And I didn't do that, so that was poor strategy on my part. I don't know why that just left my mind and I didn't do that. But I think it kind of, in a weird way, netted out, because there was that one instance that I caught rewatching parts of this where I should have added obstacles at the destination, but also at the same time I forgot to add paths. And so that weirdly sort of netted out, so I don't think it affected the game all that much from that standpoint. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted you to know ahead of time, and I'll let you get on to the playthrough. Thank you, guys. Okay, how's it going, everybody? We're going to do a playthrough. I'm going to try to get a full playthrough on camera for you. And we're going to play a difficulty 14 game. So 10 is the default difficulty if you use all the normal settings. So the normal settings would be no companion, no shadow, all the mats on the normal difficulty, no mandatory side quests. What we're going to do is, everything is normal. I'm on the normal mats. We're going to play with Shadow Pride. So Shadow is like a mini boss. It's like one of the shades that is in the area and is going to just mess with you on your way. So this is one way. I know there were some questions about how do you change up the gameplay, not just at that final encounter with the shade. This is one way to do that, which is include one or more shadows, and they mess with you while you're going. So Pride is going to
add an additional X darkness into the quest area, and all slow enemies have plus X attack. X is our corruption. So we start on corruption 1, and Pride's not going to engage us until, she's not going to intervene until our total threat is 6 or more. I've seen strategies where you just camp at Farhome and wait until your threat gets to 6, because our threat's going to start at 3, but you add a threat token at the end of every round in every refresh phase. And so we could just camp here and try to get Pride out of the way early, and that way we don't have to deal with her effect for the whole game. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I can stay in front of the darkness and the slow enemy buff here. We'll just see how that goes. I have one of my favorite builds here, which is a really easy synergistic build to go for if you're looking for like a more straightforward combo of a Luminary and Profession, because I've got Temperance here, and I've got the Scorchlight, and our main skill that we're looking at here is Bright Sword. And depending on how these skill tokens come out, this is going to be our main combo probably, because it's attacky, and attacking is good. It gets you XP and it gets enemies off the board. It gets darkness off the board in a roundabout way, because you're pulling enemies to engage you and getting them out of the way. And the way Temperance works is we get +1 attack, the way Bright Sword works here, we get +1 attack per 2 unspent XP. So we're going to try to hang on to a little bit of XP, and then if we have a fire traded card on our action card, the ratio is better. We get +1 per unspent XP. We get a max of +10. And you know that special rule based on the blue text here. And the reason I like the combo of Temperance and Scorchlight, I'll just show you a card from my opening hand. It's going to be real easy to find those fire cards, because I think most or all of the Scorchlight's cards have that fire trait. So I'm optimistic that we can do pretty well here. I'm trying to pick a difficulty that I think I can win so I can show you the whole game, but not so easy that it's not interesting, and hopefully if 14 is around that. I typically, what do I typically play? Somewhere between 13 and 16. So I guess for context, I'm playing a Blaze is the default difficulty, that's a 10. Radiant is a 13. I think that's where I normally play. And then High Radiance is a 16. That's pretty darn difficult. And then we even have a little section here that says if you do difficulty 20 or higher, you're in the bragging rights difficulty category. So I think 14 is, it should give us a good challenge. We're going to find out. I haven't put the skill tokens out yet, and the reason I wanted to save that for the video is we're going to do it, if you've got the cubes that have the screen printed tokens on it, those have like all the elements on them. The way that you can do that, because if you use the tokens, you just shuffle them up in your hand and you like pull them out of your hand randomly. The way we're going to populate these onto our mats here is I grabbed 2 unused luminaries. I got Courage and Justice here. So I got 12 cards, and we're going to start drawing these cards off the top and going from top to bottom, left to right. So we're going to fill a column as we go. So I drew Courage's, it doesn't matter the card, what I'm looking at here is the element. So that's telling me our first element here is going to be Wind. Next card is Fire. Because every Luminary and every Profession, you could use any 2 characters for this, any 2 unused characters. Every Luminary and Profession has 2 elements of each. And so your distribution is going to be, like, this is an easy randomizer for, oops, this should have been down here, for getting these tokens out. That's a Fire, another Fire, Earth, Wind, another Wind, and then that last one is Fire. And now, part of the fun, I think, is after setup, checking out how your your skill combos worked out. So I'm really interested in who Bright Sword is paired with. And oh man, so you watch me do this randomly, but I'm really excited about this. The ones I'm really excited about here are Bright Sword and Blazing Torch and Burnout are all Earth. That is pretty awesome, actually, because Blazing Torch and Burnout are the two that I was really hoping to get together. There's other combos you can go for here, like Firestorm and Slash and Burn, which those are together as well. Oh, this could be a good run. Maybe I need to up my difficulty. I'm thinking about doing that. One way I could do that is I could just flip my mats. That would take me up to 17. I want to show you the end game though. I'm afraid if I go up to 17, I'm not going to see that. Think. I don't feel confident I'm going to win on 17. Let's check out how hard this Pride Shadow is. Fine, let's try it. We're going to go to the hard mats. That gets us +3 on these. So that's 13 plus our 4 for our shadow. It's going to be a 17 difficulty. Who knows? This probably isn't smart because I'm probably not going to show you the end game. I don't think I can win like this. Players do, though. We've had playtesters win on this difficulty. I don't think I have, so we'll just go for it. Okay, during setup you populate 3 darkness into the quest area. We did that already. And so now we're starting the first round, and I'm going to consult I'm going to stick to my phase reminder card here. Staging phase, reveal based on our threat. Our starting threat, even on hard difficulty, is 3, at least until we travel once. So we're going to reveal another 3. We've got another Molten Trailhound. They're not too bad if you can get rid of them before you travel. So that's 2 darkness. We're looking at this darkness stat in the top left when we're populating enemies. So our threat is 3. That's not enough to get us to 3, so we're going to keep revealing until we do. So that is 3. Okay. Could have worse initial setups. I'm not too nervous about all that. And yeah, okay, this is going to be fun. We're going against Envy Boss. I'm not sure I said that. I really like Envy. She has a weird final encounter. We're actually going to look at this side, and she can be found at the Pit of Shada, Darkwind, or the Wrath Marshes. Now those coordinates are there, and they're telling me just look to the southeast. So we'll deal with that when we get there. We don't have to worry about her much until we do. And those 2 aren't in play other than this meddler effect is in play, which is there's an additional, right now our corruption is 1, so there's an additional 1 darkness in the quest area, and then slow enemies get that buff, but there's no slow enemies out. So, also during setup, what I should have done, you draw 7 cards and you place your initial explore card, so let's do that. I don't want to explore Far Home first. I'm going to probably try to engage 2 enemies. Can I get to 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would take 8 light to get me down to 3. I'm not sure I could do that if I wanted to. I could. What I'm doing is I'm sorting my cards by light cost. I like to do that just so I can see my cards. I'm really thinking about my light budget constantly. Like that's the main thing on my mind when I'm starting to decide what cards to play. So I've got my 1s, 2s, and then 3s in the back. So I have enough 3s. I could get to 8. And sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world early game because these dusk enemies aren't... You're not getting overrun at the start of the game. So let's look what's out here. And I would really like these Molten Trailhounds gone as soon as I can. This is a Gyaradeath Shield Bearer. You may not defend with cards in your deck if you have cards remaining in your hand. Not too worried about that. And then we've got the Pyrus Razor. After you travel, there's another travel penalty. After you travel, put progress on the Treachery equal to the distance you traveled. It'd be nice to get that card out of play before we do anything. So I'm going to assume I'm going to have at least 2, 3, 4 darkness in the quest area to have to explore over. So if I could go 5 or 6, and I got to remember I'm going to have a booster too. We didn't do our unlock, so when you start the game, you get to start with 1 skill unlocked. Probably I want to get to Bright Sword as quickly as possible, and this Repel is not connected to Bright Sword in the adjacency rules of how this skill tree works. So I think I'm gonna, just to get there, well no, my first level up I'm gonna unlock 2 skills anyway. So I might as well use what's useful. Okay. I mean, this Tireless does remove stuff from the Treachery too, so. Yeah, I think we'll unlock this. Okay. Now the question is, what card do I want to place as my free Explore card at the beginning? What I'm doing right now is, this Resist is Wind. I'm trying to decide, do I want to play a booster that can unlock that can make Wind active for me? I don't really need to add or remove anything from the Treachery because there's no progress on the Treachery. So if you're not familiar, the Treachery is, like, I'm trying to put progress on the location over here with my Explore points. I'm trying to block their progress on the Treachery. This is like their objectives that they're trying to complete. And I do have a skill here that lets me remove, under certain conditions, some progress from the Treachery. So Treachery management can be key, especially against like Wrath, which is a different shade that we're not taking on right now. Sure, I'm just going to put a 4 here. And I think that'll be enough, because if I do one of my larger ones, 8, I'm going to actually quest through Far Home, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay in Far Home for a round or 2. So, okay, now let's kind of start the round. Look through my cards together. First thing I probably want to do is decide, do I want a specific booster element? And I don't. There's no skills that I really need. So the next order of business is to look at all the actions. So at all costs, increase the threat track by up to 2 spaces. Nope. No, thank you. Add up to 3 obstacles to the location. Now, there's stuff that can get rid of obstacles if you've gotten deeper into the Scorchrights kit. But he's also got a card that lets you skip obstacles. And do I have that in hand? I don't. But we're not traveling this round anyway. Yeah, I don't need that. If you resolve your burnout skill, we will want this card eventually, but not this time. If you have at least 5 unspent XP, gain 4 light. Not necessarily needing that either, because we're not low on light yet. We will be, I'm sure, at some point. Attach all fire cards from your action set. Deal 2 damage to each enemy. Okay, so maybe we play this one just in case we can't generate enough attack. How much attack are we going to need if we pull all these guys down? So they are all physical defense. So if I play a photonic attack, all I have to do is worry about their HP. So their HP is 3, 6, 9. If I could play a 9 attack and spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and spend 8 or 9 light, then I could... here we go. This is what we're going to do. Equilibrium. In the refresh phase, I can pay 1 light to gain 1 XP or 2 light to gain 3 XP. So you remember when I was talking about the shenanigans we're going to try to pull with Temperance. Temperance is rewarded for hanging on to XP and not spending it. So XP is always good. Temperance has this twist where there's typically a negative required effect here at the bottom of his cards. This one says at the end of the action set phase, if your attack or explore card is complacent, which means it has the complacent trait, your leftmost column of skills is considered locked. Interesting. I say interesting as if I didn't design the card. It's an interesting decision right now. We're not needing our skill though, so for now that's fine. So I think I'm going to play that as our action. That lines up right here. That's going to cost 3. I'm trying to get to 8 or 9 cost, so I can pull these 3 enemies down and keep the quest area clear and get some of that XP rolling in so I can level up. And I said I needed to get to 9 photonic attack. Looking through my cards. Main attacks are here on the left in the red on the top. I don't have that good of attack cards. Actually, ironically, that's our good attack card that we just played as our action over there. But we do have some good... like here's a good booster. That's 3. We can't get there with just this because... oh, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. Okay. So I can't kill all of those guys. This is an 8 physical attack. That's the best attack I have in my hand. But it would be reduced by 1, 2, 3, 4 total. I mean, it's cut in half by their physical defense. I'm not liking that. So I think we'll just do as much as we can. Maybe I don't pull all 3 of these down. I don't have much for attack shenanigans either. I really want that XP though. I don't know. So I want to hang on to this card because you see in the refresh phase, if you have at least 5 unspent XP, you gain 4 light. So this one lets us spend extra light for some benefits, and this one lets us gain some of that light back. But you know what? It won't be that long until I see that card again, and I'm setting myself up for this 9 explore next turn. I think we'll get out of Far Home next turn. So that's 6, and I don't necessarily have a reason to pull 3 guys down. And so if that's the case, I don't want to spend too much. So I'm just going to go light on my booster here. Yeah, that's as light as I can go actually on that. I don't know. Okay. Our action set. Our attack costs 3. Action costs 3. That's 6. And our booster costs another 2. That's 8. So we're going to spend our light. And we pulled 3 down. I don't think I can take all these guys on. So we might either take wounds or have to defend with cards. So we'll find out. I say find out. I could calculate all of this out if I really wanted to. I think what it's going to come down to is one of these guys is going to be hanging out here. Probably this guy. I won't be able to kill him. Oh heck, both of them. What am I doing? I'm going to play this one instead because it's got an attack boost and I can kill another guy. There we go. I said in another video, don't watch me for tips on how to play well, but I'm going to try to talk through what I'm doing anyway so you can get a feel for the game. Okay, so this was the same cost. We played that one instead. Now we're moving on to the that was the engagement phase. Now we look at the darkness. So we calculate our total explore points. Total explore is our main Explorer plus our Explorer booster, so that's 4, 5. Oh, hold on. Got to check these. End of action set phase. If your attack or Explorer card is complacent, your leftmost column of skills is considered locked this round. We knew that was coming, if I recall. So this column is locked because my attack card is complacent. Temperance has good and bad traits, and those bad traits, if they match up with the requisite on your action card, can do stuff to you. I don't care about that right now because I don't care about this skill. So we're not worried about that. And we were resolving our darkness phase, so that's 4, 5. We have 5 explore points against the 1, 2 in the quest area because of Pride's meddler ability there. She puts darkness in the quest area equal to our corruption. Our corruption is this track right here, and our corruption is 1, so that's 1, 2 against our 5. So that's a net 3 goes on the location. That is perfect. That puts us just under Farhome's explore value of 4. Once we get 4 progress on this location, we're gone. I want to stay here though, because we're getting free light from Farhome's ability. It says you may spend 1 free light once per round. I'm also not eager to travel. I want to farm a little bit while I'm here. The threat tokens accumulating on the location are going to force me to move at some point, but I kind of want to farm XP here while things aren't so crazy. So that was easy enough. That was the explore phase. Now we get to the attack phase. We got the 3 main attack here, plus our 3 attack booster. This just goes into one big attack point pool, and it all takes on the type physical or photonic of your attack card. So that's the photonic symbol. So we have 6 total photonic attack points. These guys all have physical defense, so they're not going to touch that. And now it just matters which one I want to destroy out of these. They're all giving me 1 XP, so I don't care about that. What I'm going to do is, this guy has the least scary ability. They all have the same stats in terms of attack. So I'm going to get rid of the 2 Molten Trailhounds because they add distance to my travel, and I want them gone because I'm probably going to travel next round. Not much I can do about that Razor doing his ability against my travel, but at least I can take care of these 2 guys. So I'm just going to... attacks are you apply how many attack points you want to 1 enemy at a time until you're out of attack points. So we have 6 available. We're going to spend 3 on him. He's gone. And we're going to spend 3 on him. He's also gone. And we get the 2 XP. I'm going to store that down here. I don't know if that's on camera. Yeah. Okay. Now is the defend phase. I'm not used to... I just didn't have very good attack cards in hand, or I was greedy and I wanted this to be used here. But however it worked out here, I'm not used to having to take wounds on my first on the first round of the game. Question is, do I want to defend that? You can defend with cards of the same type. So he's a physical type attack, and that's photonic, that's photonic, that's photonic. I couldn't defend this if I wanted to. Normally you can also defend from the top of your deck, and you can if you don't have any cards remaining in your hand per this special ability here. But I don't have anything to defend with. I have to take wounds. So I'm just going to take wounds equal to the attack. You can also defend partially as well. Like if we could have defended 1 with our cards, we would just take the 1 net wound. And that's the defend phase. Okay, now the refresh phase. It's nice to just follow these steps in order because there's a few things to it, and some of them are easy to forget when you're first learning the game. So update the location, remove the new location token. That's this guy. I'm going to put it on top of the location deck as a reminder for after I travel. I need to put that on the destination. Produce light. Our light production at the beginning of the game per our character. This one's Yeah, this is the character growth track. So our light production is 4, and the question is, can I afford anything? No. The next level up on the ability growth track is 3 XP. The next level up on the character growth track is 4 XP. That's one thing that gets harder on these hard mats, is just the costs go up, so you're leveling up slower. So I can't even afford to level up. So I'm not going to do that. Produce light. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. That's optional. I'm not going to rest. Discard Action Explorer and Booster. And then we're going to shift our attack card. That's our next Explore card. We have a nice hefty 9 there, so we can really focus on attack next time. That's my plan. And then draw to your hand size. We have 3 in our hand. We're going to go 4, 5, 6. Okay, we would ready a companion if we had one. We do not. And now we're back up top at the staging phase. I'm going to organize my cards by light cost again. Okay, nice even spread there. That's good. Okay, now we're headed to the next staging phase. Should we try to do one more round before I take a break? Sure, we'll do one more round. During staging, we've still got the 3 threat. There's a Gyaradeath Seeker. He's 1. And a red Wraith of X. X is our corruption. So that's a 1. So that's 2. Okay. A little unlucky there. Yeah, that was definitely unlucky. Now there's a Wing Wraith. And that's 2. So we took the surplus there. And that's a slow enemy. And we got to remember that those slow enemies are getting buffed by our Shadow Pride up there. Okay, should I have played on an easier difficulty setting? That's going to be the question I keep asking myself. Staging is done. There were no when revealed effects. I'm a little disappointed that both these guys came out in front of this guy, because I want that guy gone when I travel, but I might just have to eat that and then hopefully make it up later by removing progress on that Treachery. Okay, that's staging. Now it's the action set phase where we do stuff. We have an excellent Explore card. We've got 9, and we might need to be a little more stingy here. I'm already getting nervous about our light, because it's expensive to upgrade our light production, and I'd rather be upgrading skills. Because now I'm to the point where I just don't want that many enemies coming down. So we're going to go light here if we can. If I spend 1, 2, 3, and then the 1 free one. So if I spend 4 light, maybe we set that as our budget so that only these 2 come down. But if only these 2 come down, I have no way to attack this guy. But if they all 3 come down, I might be in trouble. Let's see what kind of attack we got. Let's look at our cards here. Okay. Fan the Flame. Okay, that's not useful to us until we get Burnout and Blazing Torch unlocked. Controlled Disruption. That's only if a Treachery goes off. Hopefully that doesn't happen. This reduces... Oh, man, you know what I forgot to do? It's a solo game, so we can retcon this. The whole point of playing this card, you may pay 1 light to gain 1 XP or 2 light to gain 3 XP. Would we have wanted to do that? That was our action card over here. I spent so much light in that first round that I'm now hesitant to do that, but it would let me level up. And if I could level up, if I could grow and unlock Bright Sword and Blazing Torch, maybe we push the tempo. Oh, maybe we push the tempo. What did it say? You may pay 1 to gain 1 or 2 to gain 3. Whatever, we're going to do it. So we're going to say during the refresh phase, we activated this 1x effect. We spent the 2 and we get 3, so we're up to 5 now. And now we could, so you can level up anytime as long as you're not in the middle of carrying out like a game action. So now we got 5. And I'm going to spend 3 of that on growing on this track, that next space costs 3, we unlock 2 skills. 100% we're going for Bright Sword, and 100% we're going for Blazing Torch. I'll read both of those again. Bright Sword is +1 main attack per 2 unspent XP. So this right here would be a +1. But if our action card has the fire trait, it's per 1 unspent XP. So that conversion ratio goes, like, it doubles in efficiency for us. So this would be 2 if our action card had fire. Hopefully we can get like 10 saved up, but we'll see, because it's also vital to, as you can see, we're getting low on lead already, so it's also vital to be doing that. Blazing Torch. This is Scorchite's skill. It says, attach X +1 fire cards to enemies in your player area, then push X enemies. X is the number of advanced cards in your hand. Advanced cards are the back sides of these. When you upgrade cards, you get to flip them. So that's that symbol there. So this is like a natural, organic leveling up of this skill. This skill's going to get stronger later in the game. But what it does is it allows me to attach fire cards, which we have plenty of, because Temperance has a handful of fire cards as well. And then, if you have any advanced cards in your hand, you can push some of those enemies. And the reason you want to push them is when they're up here in the quest area, they don't attack you, as you saw last round. And so an ideal loop with the Scorchite would be use Blazing Torch, attach a bunch of fire cards out because you have advanced cards in your hand, and then per Blazing Torch's own effect, push a bunch of those to the quest area so they can't attack you. And then resolve Burnout, which in the refresh phase deals 3 wounds to enemies per fire attachment they have. So this is like a latent effect. Normally, without Blazing Torch getting, or some other way to push the enemies, you're just going to have to take that attack from those enemies if you didn't kill them, because then Burnout triggers in the refresh phase after the enemies have had their attack phase. So that would be an ideal loop with Scorchite, and here that combo is all the more efficient because they share an element. But actually, maybe we'll rely on that later in the game, especially once Burnout is unlocked. I'm more concerned about it allowing us to push enemies because I'm a little nervous already. But also, we're more focused on Bright Sword right now. So let's think about how much we can spend. So for sure 3 are coming down. We just don't have that many cheap cards. We can't spend 2 because there's a couple characters that have a 0 cost. Like Wayfarer and Mender, I think, have a 0 cost card in their deck, but we do not. So at least 3 are coming down. I just want to spend as little as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Man. Okay. Let's figure this out. I'm looking at our cards. Let's look and see if there's any abilities that are good. I could spend these 3 cards and spend only technically 3 because of the free one from Far Home. Draw a card. I don't care about that. Revealing Treacheries, not too interested. Increase the threat track to reduce the cost of your next growth. You know, Pride's condition for coming out, her intervene condition, is our threat being 6. That would allow us to hit that faster. Nope, we're already running pretty hot in our tempo here. Add 3 obstacles to location. That just gets fire cards in our hand. I'm not too interested in that. If you complete the location while it has a fire attachment, that can happen through this slash and burn skill. And we could do that if it was unlocked. And then attach all fire cards. And deal direct damage. I'm going to just play defensively here, I think, and try to sort of budget our way out of this mess. I'm already in a mess. So we're going to spend as little light as possible. I'm going to play this Controlled Disruption for 2 reasons. One, it's got an attack boost of 3, which is good, especially for a 1 cost. I think this is what I'm going to do. Oh my goodness. And 2, it's got that earth element. That's the only earth card I have, and that gets me this Bright Sword. One cool thing about Bright Sword is we can defeat a handful of enemies first and then trigger it. It's a 1x ability. Or is that right? Yeah, we can do that because it's a 1x ability. So I can defeat a handful first and then trigger it after we've earned some XP. Yeah, what I was thinking about was you can't grow while you're in the middle of an action. I'm going to just double check my effects rules. Effects. Effect resolution timing. Follow its phase restriction. You can't resolve an effect if you're in the middle of resolving another effect, unless it's a when effect, that's an interrupt. You can't if you are in the middle of carrying out a game action. Game action is any kind of upkeep the game requires you to do, such as discarding your action set in the refresh phase, producing light in the refresh phase, or revealing enemies in the staging phase. And then, hey, the designer here has a note. I would encourage you not to stress too much about this rule. Usually you will play this correctly intuitively. Okay. The game action is not going to be, there's no upkeep going on in the middle of my attacking. So yes, that's how we'll play it, and that's the correct way to play it, is you can take that snapshot of how much XP you have after defeating a handful of enemies. I think that's the only thing that's going to get us out of this mess, regardless. So I do want that earth element, because Bright Sword is going to be better for us than I thought. And if I can help it, I'm going to try to get a fire card as our action card. Hey, I can do that. Right here. I'm not going to resolve this 1x effect. Those are optional. It's not a mandatory effect, so I'm going to do... Then after you resolve an effect that allows you to attach one or more cards. Enemies, you may attach up to 2 fire cards to an enemy. It doesn't do me that much good because I don't have any upgraded cards in my hand, so I'm not pushing enemies anyway. So I'm playing that just because it's cheap and just because it has the fire trait, which leaves me with a choice between these 2 cards for my attack. And yeah, this guy's got photonic defense. He's fine. I'll just take a wound from him. This guy's got photonic defense. That's not ideal. Man, I'm in trouble. What would happen if I played this card? That's an 8 attack, and that's physical. How many guys could I take out? This might be a short playthrough, guys. Don't do what I'm doing, I don't think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to have all these guys engage me, I think. I don't know. Let's play this out and see how it looks and see if we need to dial it back a little bit. So we're spending 3, 4, 5. That's a net 4 with Farholm's effect. That would take us to 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that would keep us in the 3 range. We're going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want to get here. Make sure that's on camera here. We don't want to get into this area here because that's going to start populating enemies after the action set phase, after the engagement phase. And you don't want more enemies coming out. And then on hard mode, on the hard side of these mats, it's also dealing us wounds, so I don't want that either. Okay, that's the action set phase. I'm getting nervous. Are you guys nervous? Enemies engage you based on your light track or the engagement track. That's 3. So they come down in order, like this. Okay, we'll total up our explore points. We're going to be traveling here. So I'm going to put my hand on my reference card so I don't forget where my hand is. We've got 9 explore points over 1, 2, 3 in the quest area. That's a lot, so we're plenty good. We have some overkill off our home. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to advance this Shade Influence mat. This is important because it reduces the difficulty of when the boss comes out in that final location. So we're trying to get to like 4 or 5 locations explored. Okay, that's good. We also get this XP. That's good. So this 2 turns to 3. This goes up in the location discard pile, and now we get to travel. Okay, this is the fun part, and this is the part that people seem to be still confused about and justly so. On like online, people are saying the travel system isn't like clicking for them, and that makes total sense because it might take a game, maybe even two, to really feel like you got a handle on it. But I'll try to explain it as I go here. So we completed our location. Now you flip a card off the top, and then you decide what to do with it. So we're looking at the Northwood Mountains here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's not a final location, because if it is, I really want to save it. It's not. That's Pit of Shada, Darkwind, and Wrath Marshes. So it's not one of those. Now I'm going to look how far away it is. 3-2. That's not horrible. Do I have any enemies in play that are going to punish me for traveling? Yes. The Pyrus Razor here says, after you travel, put progress on the Treachery equal to the distance you traveled, then you place a wound on this enemy. So the stakes are pretty high here in terms of how far we're traveling, because we don't want that progress. And then I'm going to look at the ability here, or the effect of this location. Take 2 wounds whenever a Treachery is completed, and then you're dropping obstacles when you leave. I'm not super worried about that though, because I know there's a card in my deck as the Scorchlight that's going to get rid of those obstacles or ignore them. So I'm not too worried about obstacles. But I also want some beacons. So my choices here. I can travel here. I could defer it, which is just like setting it to the side and it adds 1 distance to our travel. Or the third option is save it as a beacon if you have room. We're empty on beacons, and we can hold, per our beacon capacity here, we can hold 4. It's a good idea to have beacons on hand because they can do a few things for you. You can discard them. There's the reminders up here. You can discard them for 2 healing in the refresh phase, or for a buff of 2 to your Explore booster. So I think we're gonna, shucks, do we go here? How much distance would that be? That would be 2 to the right and 1 to the south. So that's a distance of 3. I also want beacons because that's how you get paths, and we don't really have any good ways to get paths. So what I'm agonizing about here is there's this thing called emergency beacon travel, where you can pay 3 XP or advance the threat track 2 spaces to travel to a beacon after deciding not to initially. Because when you travel, you can decide, okay, I'm going to engage with this deck and try to find a destination from that, or you can skip all of that and you can say, I'm going to travel to something that I saved as a beacon previously. That's how it works most of the time. But there's this thing called emergency beacon travel, where even in the middle of our travel, let's say I save this as a beacon and we keep flipping locations, we could pay 3 XP and we could travel to one of our beacons that we just saved. It's like an insurance policy, because, okay, this looks kind of okay, and if I don't flip a better location, then we could travel to it. The thing is, though, we're so short on XP, and I'm so gonna rely on this Bright Sword that I'm hesitant to do that. I think we might just go there. This takes us right in the middle of the map. Do I go there or not? It's only 3. Yeah, it's only 3. We're going to do it. We're going to travel here. Okay. That's our destination. Now we resolve the distance and the difference between the 1-1 Far Home location and the 3-2 Northwood Mountains location. So we moved 2 spaces east and 1 space south. Then you come over here to the distance track, and we're going to advance this equal to our distance. So, whoops. 1, 2, 3. And I'm looking right here. It's telling me advance the threat track 1 space and advance the resistance track 2 spaces. Okay. The threat track tells you how much darkness of enemies you're populating every round in the staging phase, and the resistance track adds to the progress requirement for the location. So I didn't realize that we were already in a resistance area of 1. That wouldn't have mattered because we had a huge surplus on our progress. But now the big development here is now we're in the 4 threat territory. So we'll reset this cube. And we have traveled. There's one effect here to remember to fire, and that's this guy puts progress on the Treachery equal to the distance we traveled, and then he takes a wound. Just so he doesn't do that too often. So we put 3 progress on the Treachery. This has a progress value of 6, so we're halfway there. Treacheries are always bad. I don't even care what this is. I don't want it to fire. So hopefully we can take that off later with this resist skill from Temperance. Okay, that is the explore phase done. Now the attack phase. Calculate our attack points. We've got 8 here, 9, 10, 11. This is physical flavor as opposed to photonic. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 physical. Do we have any shenanigans over here? No, but we do have Bright Sword. And I'm going to activate this Bright Sword. Well, no, we're going to wait until we kill 1 or 2 of them. So we're going to spend this. This is where that tracking dial comes in handy. That was a stretch goal in the campaign. This is borrowed from a different game. This is all prototype stuff. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we've got 11 attack points. And now I basically get to go shopping against who do I want to defeat. Who's going to give me the most XP? This guy's worth 2, so he's high priority target. So I'm going to spend 4 of it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whoa, hey, we're getting there even without Bright Sword. Oh, that's wonderful. So, right? Oh, no. Because this, oh, shucks. Both of these guys are, nope, it's these 2 guys that are the problem. They're both physical. But with Bright Sword, we should get there. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend this efficiently against some of these photonic guys. So here's 4 of that. We're down to 7 attack points left. It goes up here, we get that 2 XP, we're up to 5. Then we're going to spend another 2 on him, because he's not blocking any of that. We're down to 5. And he's going to get us another XP. We're up to 6. And we're actually plenty good here. So I'm going to trigger Bright Sword now. And because we have a fire card over here, and that's what it's looking for, we get the kicker, and that just ups our efficiency. So this says we get +1 main attack per unspent XP. That's another 6. So we triggered that. We're up to 11 again. Oh yeah. And we're still the wrong attack type, so they're defending against us now. So we've got this 11, and we're adding in their defense here. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 gets him. And that's 1 XP. We've got 6 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually we didn't need all of that, so we only needed 3 of that. So we had room to spare. That was wonderful. Did any of these guys have tricks on defeating them? No. Okay. Now we're up to 8 XP. There we go. And I was all nervous about this turn. I still am a little nervous. We're going to be on a tight budget here with the light business, but I'm much happier about how that turned out than I was thinking. I think it's partly because we had such a good travel here. So we're going to do refresh here, and then I'm going to take a break, and I'll pick this up another time. Because that was the attack phase, defend phase. There's nothing in our face here. This guy doesn't attack us. And then we'll do refresh. So we'll update the location. That's good. We can, next time there'll be a threat token added to this. Now, the temptation with Temperance is I want to spend my XP here to grow because I need more light production. We're sitting at 4. I'd love to get to 5, but I also need more powerful cards because we're going to start facing more enemies already because our threat is higher. Because it was a good travel, but on hard mode, like it's really mean to you because you start at 3 right here and you travel once and you're toast. Like you're not toast. You're already in the 4 threat section. And then 5 is knocking on your door here. So before I produce light, I'm deciding whether I want to upgrade our light production here. That costs 4. I think that's the right thing to do. So we're going to spend 4 of that. Four of our 8, we're down to 4, and we'll advance this. Okay, and since our light production is now 5, we're going to go up 5 from 10 to 15. That is still not awesome, but it. So basically, if we want to, you know, keep our stasis here, we can only spend 5 light per round because that's what we're producing in order to not get into this 4 territory, and that's like death spiral territory. I don't want to get there. I don't know if I've ever come back from that, especially if I've gotten down to here. Okay. Yeah, okay, we produced light. I'm not going to rest. We've got 2 wounds, but 8 HP, so we're just going to risk that. And then we'll discard our cards. Make sure I didn't forget to resolve our action. I did not. And then we'll slide our attack over. Now we'll draw cards. And we're not even going to have to advance corruption yet. That's great. So we'll draw to our hand size, which is still 6. It'll start upgrading when we get to here. So we'll draw the rest of our deck. Our deck is now empty, but what I'm excited about is we did not advance corruption yet. So if we were to travel, which I might do, I might travel because as soon as you advance this corruption cube 1 space, now this cube starts over here and your travel is already 1 more penalizing than it was at the beginning of the game. So that might be something I really consider doing next video, is maybe we just try to go 1 and done and explore Northwood Mountains if we can. I mean, that's a hefty 9 explore value. And we've only got this 3 because we wanted to play our attack card so badly. We've only got this 3 main explore. So unless I pull some shenanigans, we're probably not going to get there. But it would be nice to explore and then travel again before our corruption advances. That's what's on my mind here. Okay. That's the end of the refresh phase. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and we'll pick this up again with the staging phase of the next round. Okay, I am back. One correction I see right away is I didn't draw to a full hand here. What actually happened was I accidentally included Temperance Companion in his card deck, so I only drew to a hand of 5, which means we would reshuffle our discard, which is hopefully getting on camera. There we go. And I'm going to draw an extra card. Whenever you reshuffle, we're going to advance corruption. And then we have to advance that distance cube so that thing hangs out with the corruption cube. Okay, it's been a minute since I was playing this last, so I'm trying to take stock of the board state here. We're at the Northwood Mountains, and we've been here. We must have traveled here last round because there's no threat tokens on it. We're sitting on 2 wounds. We've got a decent handle on, looks like we're not getting overrun with enemies. And then, okay, looks like we're doing pretty good so far. And what do we got for skills unlocked? Resist. That buffs our defense. And we could potentially remove progress from the Treachery. Aha, and then Bright Sword and Blazing Torch. That's going to be our key combo here. And then once Burnout gets live, hopefully we can just start getting some good momentum here. Okay, take note that Pride Shadow has this meddler effect where based on our corruption, she does those bad things. So we have 2 extra darkness in the quest area, and then slow enemies have +2 attack, which is that's kind of a big deal. Slow enemies are the ones that might hang around from round to round, so that might come into play here once we start, especially once we start digging into the Doom deck. That happens once we hit 5 threat or more. We are not quite there yet, but that could happen at the end of this round. Okay, let's play. Now that I'm caught up, I've sorted my cards. I apologize, you're going to hear me sipping coffee this morning. but I can assure you that's necessary for me to be able to think here. Okay, we've got Shortcut, one of my favorite cards, in my opinion, one of the most powerful that Scorchright has. If there is at least 3 progress on the location, place 3 progress on it. If there is at least 6 progress on the location, place 5 on it instead. Controlled Disruption, that helps us if we're revealing a Treachery. I'm going to do my best to not let that happen. When a Treachery is completed, there's another one. But although that is some extra XP there, is that worth it? I don't know about that. Not this early in the game, anyway. At all costs, increase the threat track, and then that reduces the cost of our next growth. That's good, because we like to have XP on hand to buff Temperance's skills, so that's not horrible. And then we can add obstacles to the location with this Scout Ahead card, and that basically gets us loaded up with fire cards in our hand. That would be if we're trying to do a big Blazing Torch turn. And then Resourceful, attach all fire cards from among your action, explore, and booster cards to a different enemy in your player area. Okay. Whenever a Treachery is completed, take 2 wounds. So that rules that out. Northwood Mountains here has that effect, so we're just gonna do everything we can to not prevent that. If you hear coughing, that's my kiddos upstairs. We're all fighting colds in the house, so just bear with us with that. Okay, and then we're going to be dropping obstacles as soon as we travel away. And there's a whopping 9 explore value on this, plus another 1 from our resistance track. So I can't go too big when it comes to exploration for a while. All right, so I'm sure I ended at the end of the refresh phase, so let's just take care of staging so I can make decisions on my cards. We are at 4 threat, so we're going to reveal 4. There's 1. We've got a Soul Scout. It's fast, so it goes in front. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is better than we have been doing, I think. The Soul Assassin. And then the Threatened Swifter. I love the art so much. Cole did such a good job. Okay. I'm looking at all their abilities. This is when defeated, another one engages you. So if I could, I'm looking at our engagement track over here. Sorry, I have to keep checking to make sure everything's on camera. It is. We're for sure going to have 3 engaging us. If I defeat this guy, then the Wing Wraith is going to come down and attack us. Okay, that's going to cause us a wound or put more progress on the Treachery. And the Soul Assassin's going to hurt us if we travel. Not worried about that. He should be long gone by the time we fully explore Northwood Mountains here. I need some attack shenanigans is what I'm trying to come up with here. So this is attaching fire cards. What I really want is my Burnout to be activated, but to be unlocked, so that attaching those fire cards actually does something on its own too, not just per card effects. Well, we're for sure going to lean on Greatsword, so I'm going to look at my Earth element options, and here we are. We've got these 2. Which one? Oh, they're both +3 attack. So what I'm thinking about with Shortcut here, there's no progress on there, but there might be by the time I'm done here. So I think I'm going to save that one, and then we'll play Controlled Disruption as our booster. And definitely going to not let a Treachery go off. So what I'm going to do instead is play that as our action, Shortcut. That'll help us put progress on the location. Okay, and then we're just going to go big, I think. We're going to go calculated risk for our attack card here. You know what? I'm not going to waste this shortcut right now because I'm only going to be generating 3 explore points because my booster isn't adding anything. So, is there anything else cheap that I want to play there? No, and I want to go as cheap as I can. So, that unfortunately might be wasted. Unless I let the progress go on the treachery. Now that's an interesting decision. That's one thing this game lets you do that some other, I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings specifically, you don't have to cover this quest area darkness. You can decide to, like, it's more in my best interest to put the progress on the location rather than blocking this treachery progress. And since we do have means, not every character does, to remove progress from the treachery, maybe we go for it. Okay, I'm gonna play that. So this is a pretty cheap action set. We've got 1 light, 2 light, 1 light. So that's a total of 4. We'll spend our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. If I remember right, we were all the way down here last time, so we're still in the 3 zone. Oh man, all these guys are physical defense, and I played a physical attack. That's not what you want. Oh boy, but I don't have much of a choice. Because I'm looking at this card. It's actually decent. There's 4 attack, and then I have a good explorer next turn, but it's a 3 cost, and that gets us down into this 4 engagement territory, gives us an automatic wound, and then brings out another dusk enemy. And I think that is important enough to avoid. So let's try this. We're going to play at all costs instead and have that measly 2 attack point value for our main attack. That was the same cost as the card we replaced, so no changes here. Right, we'll move on to the engagement phase. We're in the 3 engagement section. These guys come down. Now we're into the darkness phase. This is where we decide how to allocate our explore points generated. So let's calculate our explore points. That is 3 plus 0 from our booster is a total of 3. Now what I'm getting at here, what I'm deciding about is, if you recall, shortcut lets us put extra progress if there's 3 progress, and we can trigger this any time. It's just a voluntary 1x effect type. So we could skip covering this 2 darkness here. This Wing Wraith is putting 2 on the treachery if we don't block it. And I might just let that go. I think the momentum early game, like this is this would be like a fairly risky investment. But I think I sometimes play too conservatively. And I think it's sometimes better to take those risks early so that you can kind of get that snowball going, that positive feedback loop going. So I think we're going to do that. So we're going to decide not to put we're going to decide not to cover this. And so the first thing that happens is whatever we decided not to cover before we put any progress on the location goes on to the treachery, darkness value of 2. That takes us up from 3 to 5. And this has a progress value of 6. So we're 1 away. We're kind of flying pretty close to the sun there. Okay, now our 3 progress can go on the location. And now we're going to fire shortcut. I should not say fire since there's so much fire going on with the Scorch Rites kit. We're going to resolve this 1x effect on our action card. If there's at least 3 progress on the location, place 3 progress on it. So that takes us up from 3 to 6. We have another 5 in there. There we go. Okay, now there's 6 on the location. We need 10 to fully explored. That's actually pretty good. Okay, now we're in the attack phase. We have our 2 photonic attack, plus 3 attack booster, that's up to 5 attack points. However, we've got an earth element, that means Bright Sword is active. Bright Sword is plus 1 per 2 unspent XP. However, we have a fire trait on our action card. Thank you again to Scorchright. And that gives us plus 1 per unspent XP, maximum of plus 10. We have 3/4 unspent XP, so that's a 1-to-1 conversion rate there because of our fire kicker. And so we get to add 4 to our attack. So we've got the 5 natural photonic plus another 4, that's 9 photonic attack points. And let's just start taking these guys out. I'm going to take on this guy first. I'm going to use my dial here so I don't have to mentally track this on camera. We've got 9 attack points. And I'm feeling pretty good about this. So let's get this guy. We get to bypass his defense since he's got physical defense. So that's 2. And we get 1 XP for that. So now we're down to 7. I'm going to spend 3 on this guy. Well, hold on. I'm going to back up just 1 second here and make sure I'm prioritizing things right. We're going to do the thing first. We're going to hit this Soul Scout first. And you can see it says, when defeated, the next enemy in the quest area engages you. And I kind of want that to happen. See if we can clear out that quest area. We're doing pretty good with our Bright Sword combo right now. So we're going to spend the 2 on that enemy instead. And his defense doesn't apply. He's got physical defense. So we do get 1 XP for that. And then what I'm thinking about now is I should have done the trick with Bright Sword where I only fire it after I've gained a little bit of XP. So what would we have naturally? That would have been a 5. Let's do that instead. So we've got 5 natural before we resolve Bright Sword. So we're going to do 5. And then we spent 2 of it just now, down to 3. We're going to spend another 2 right here. Oh wait, this guy comes down because of that. And we're going to focus on him a little bit. The trouble is, now he's fighting our defense. He's fighting us with defense, that is. He's got photonic defense. So it's going to take 5 attack points to get him. So we can't get him yet. But depending on when we activate Bright Sword, we might be able to do this. So I'm going to spend it on this guy next. Nope, I'm going to spend it on this guy next, because he gives more XP. So we've got 3 attack points here. That's going to be enough to get him. But the Threatened Swifter's ability says when you attack this enemy, choose to either take 1 wound or place 2 progress on the Treachery. We're going to take that as a wound, so we're going up from 2 to 3. Because 1 more progress over here would fire that Treachery, and I just don't want to start that downward spiral. So that guy's toast. We get another 2, so that brings us up to 7. Try to find a 5 here. Okay. Now we're going to trigger Bright Sword, and we're magically back up to 7, which is awesome. Okay, we're going to spend 2 here. Get us the 1. And we've got 5 attack points left, and we need 5 to defeat him. Heck yeah, that's sweet. So, and he is a dusk enemy, even though he's slow. So that's going to give us 2 more. And now I'm going to cash in my 1s here. We've got 10. Nice round number. I'm feeling really good about things. famous last words, but I think things are going well here. Oh, I forgot about Pride. There's an additional 2 darkness in the quest area. So this whole gimmick over here would not have worked. So what we're going to do instead is, it's not going to hurt anything to retract that. Since I can't trigger shortcut even if I wanted to, I'm going to apply all 3 of my explore points to covering quest area darkness, which was 2 plus another 2 was 4, so there was a net 1 that came over here instead of 3. And that means we're down to 3 on the treachery. Okay, so I'm feeling less good about things, but that's what the shadows do. They tend to they just make it harder during the game. So Brad did her job there, which I'm happy to see from a design standpoint. Okay, let's run through the refresh process. We're going to update the location. Now this could start to get pretty scary because I need, like I said, I need 10 explore points. I need 10 progress on this thing. And now we've got our first threat token. That can get pretty scary because more enemies are going to come out now. So, and actually if we hang out here long enough, Pride's going to come out and maybe we actually just do that. We'll think about that. Okay, we updated the location, produce light. Before I do that, I'm going to check to see if we want to level up at all. So we could get a permanent booster, and I'm really going to consider that. I didn't give us a permanent booster deck or a hobby market. Let's do that then. Who should we pick? We've got Mender, Hunter, Wayfarer. I'm going to pick Hunter as our permanent booster and Mender as our hobby deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. And so, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. You can't, so I'll just put them in a stack. All right, we have 10 XP. Do we want to spend it on a permanent booster or do we want to spend it on a better card? I'm struggling so much with light right now that I think we're going to keep moving along this bottom track. So we're going to spend, I wish I had enough to level up our light production, but we're going to spend 5 of it, 5 of our 10 to get us a permanent booster, which ironically is also going to lose us some light. We are liking Earth right now. Earth is our main combo, so that's what I'm going to be looking for here. Okay, so if I spend 2 light, I could equip this permanent booster and get a +3. If I spend 1 light, I could equip this permanent booster. Now, the order of operations here is going to be important to us because the game penalizes you for equipping boosters, permanent boosters of the same element. If you already have one up, like if we equip this one first, we have to pay for it again if we equip another earth element. And so if we equip the more expensive one first, that's technically less efficient because you're paying that higher cost again. So if you were being the most efficient possible, you would do this. The problem is, how badly do you want the extra booster? And I'm thinking this plus, the extra +1 is not going to be worth it. We're going to do the cheaper one. Be a little stingy there. So we're going to equip this, and then we pay that light cost once when we're equipping the permanent booster, so that goes down to here. And okay. Can you guys still see my XP? Yes, you can. That level up is taken care of. I think that's all we're going to do there. We're not going to rest. That's a little bit risky. We got 3 wounds on us, but we're not going to rest. Now we'll discard and shift, and we'll draw our new hand. We got 3 cards in hand, 4, 5, 6. And new round. Okay. Now our total threat is 4 from the threat track plus 1 from threat token on the location. Thematically, if you hang around too long in the same spot, word's going to get out and they're going to start honing in on your location. So now we're fighting 5 threat, and once you hit 5, then you start pulling from the Doom deck first. So if you have 5 or more left, you pull from the Doom deck. Here we've got a threatened Torch Wielder. When revealed, if you are at Corruption 4 or higher, we are not, so we can ignore that. Look at that. 10 hit points, 5 attack, 4 darkness, so these are pretty tough. Okay, he was a 4, and we needed 5, so we're going to reveal another one from the Dusk. And that's a 2. This guy looks so cool, the Gyaradeath Grunt. This enemy has plus X hit points, where X is the number of completed treacheries. Haha, we have no completed treacheries yet, so he's just a 2. That's great. Okay. One bad thing about Doom enemies is they sort of consolidate the number of enemies into just more powerful but fewer enemies. And that means your engagement track over here, which we did not produce light. We need to produce 5 light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're good there. More enemies are going to come down, or not more enemies, but like fewer enemies means your engagement track is bringing all of the danger down towards you. I'm not making much sense. I promise that makes sense in my head, and I'm just having a hard time explaining it. Okay, now we get to play our cards in the action set phase. I'm going to order these by light cost, like I like to do. Got a few more spendy ones in our hand. What are both of these guys? They're both physical defense, so if we play photonic attack. But I'm also going to be focused on getting a fire card. I want an earth element, which unfortunately is only on this expensive card. And the boosters do get better, but not like in a linear ratio. Typically it's a worse deal the higher up you get. So I'm always looking to play cheap boosters. So when we start adding cards from our hobby deck over here, I'm probably going to be seeking out earth cards so that I have more options for cheap boosters. But I think we have to play this one just because Bright Sword is our only way to really deal with that gigantic enemy there. So that's going to be our booster. Is that smart? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, this could be our remove stuff from the Treachery turn. Do we have a Tireless card? Hopeless, Reckless, Lost. I don't have a Tireless card in hand. To get the kicker on resist here and remove progress from the Treachery, that's what we would need. I think we're traveling this turn is what it looks like to me. We'll find out. But I'm looking for cheap cards here. Cheap cards, but also powerful attacks. Don't have much for options. And they're both physical, darn it. So that's a total of 3 defense I would have to push through. I think we might go resourceful here. That's so expensive though. I mean, that would take me down into this kind of territory here, which I'm not excited about. Do we just suck it up and do that? I don't know. I'm struggling with this decision. I don't feel comfortable spending that 3. I'm looking at their action effects. This lets me ignore an enemy's effect. And I might go with that because it's cheap, but also because I think we're going to get down into this range where we're going to populate a new enemy at the end of the engagement phase. And if it's got a nasty quest area effect, then we could at least ignore it. And why not? I'm being a little reckless with my spending here, to be honest. We've got an action set of 3, 4, 5, 6 cost. So we'll reduce this by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That brings us into the 4 engagement area, and I believe it's at the after engagement happens. Just going to double check the timing on that. Yep, so after the enemies engage you, then you resolve the engagement track penalties. Yep, okay. So we'll let them engage. We're bringing down everything. And then after that, we have to take a wound. I'm not liking this. So we're at 4 of our 8 hit points. And then we also have to reveal a new Dusk enemy, and we'll find out what it is. We have a Soul Conspirator. Put 1 progress on the Treachery at the end of the attack phase. That stinks that he's in the quest area. Darn it. Ah, that stinks. Because, you know, he's a fast enemy. I'm not used to this guy being a problem because a lot of times he's fast, so he's coming in front, and then I see him engage with me right away. But he's in the quest area right now. His ability doesn't say anything about, it doesn't apply when it's in the quest area, so it's just he's in play, so his effect is in play. Oh, okay, but I'm remembering last round, that's not actually going to trigger this. I was misremembering because we had to walk back our turn a little bit. Okay, so that's not going to fire that Treachery. It gets us closer, but okay. I overreacted. We're fine, I think. Okay, that was the engagement phase, darkness phase. We've got 8 explore points here, plus another 5 from our explore booster, and then because because our booster card is Earth and our permanent booster here is also Earth, that means we get to also get the booster values of our permanent booster. So we've got 8 plus 5 plus 2 is 8 plus 7 is 15. We've got 15 explore points. We are going to cover this plus the extra 2, so that's 15, 14, 13, 12. So we're covering all of this, and that 12 is going to be plenty to travel. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, you take off the threat tokens, you get the XP. Look at that art. That's so cool. You get the XP, so that's 2. And that's good. That's going to help us in the attack phase coming up here. And we advance Shade Influence. If we were to go to the final location right now, we would put out another 11 darkness worth of enemies, which is ridiculous. So we do need to explore a few more locations. We're going to double check Envy's final locations: Pit of Shada, Darkwind, and Wrath Marshes. And they're all kind of down in the southeast. Northwood Mountains is somewhere near kind of the center of the map. Okay, first reveal, and remember we have 4 beacon slots, and I'd like to save some because I need to start healing. First reveal is the Way of Madness. Oh, hey. That would actually bring this guy down. But then I wouldn't save any beacons. So one thing that I want to point out, there's like a break glass in case of emergency beacon travel. I think I might have told you about this previously, but we could save this as a beacon and then keep going and looking for more locations, and then we can pay 3 XP or advance the threat track twice to travel to something that we've just saved as a beacon. So I think we're going to rely on that. Move that up here. We're going to save it as a beacon for now. That's a decent destination because of the coordinates too, because that's only 2 distance away, which is not too bad. That's pretty good. Okay, another location. The arid desert. It's a 4-2. We are coming from a 3-2, so that is moving the other direction a little bit. That's moving eastward. Are there any soul enemies in play? Yeah, we do. So that's putting threat on the location right away. Man, each of these are good for me, but I really want to have some beacons on hand. I'm struggling with this decision. Another decision here is these two are kind of, so there's a mountain range going down the middle, roughly the middle of the map. The arid desert, there's desert locations on the east side of the mountains, and there's like foresty, swampy, dark locations on the west side, and the XP rewards are worse in the desert, but the progress values tend to be lower. And maybe that could be a way for me to just start zipping through locations faster, even though I'm getting less XP. I think we're going to the desert. Okay, we save this one as a beacon. We're traveling to the arid desert. Now we calculate our distance. This is a 4-2 location. We're coming from a 3-2 location, so in terms of being efficient with our travel, I promise I didn't stack this deck. We're only going 1 distance. That's the minimum you can travel is 1. So we're going to come over here. We're going to bump this 1 space. I'm looking here. It says advanced threat 1 space and advanced resistance 1 space. So the only real negative effect there that affects us right away is now we're in the 2 section of the resistance track. And now we'll reset our distance cube. Okay, that was a good travel. We'll put the new location on, token on there. But I have to remember, upon arrival, place X threat tokens on this location where X is the number of soul enemies in play. We are currently we have a soul enemy in play. And I'm making a mental note to check that. That might be soul's effect. Actually, it might not be. We must be close to soul. I think soul is kind of in that top right corner of the map. So I think that's the case. At any rate, we're going to follow the rules and put 1 threat token on. And I'm thinking that's not the end of the world, because maybe we can just get Pride to engage us and get this extra darkness out of here. We'll see. Okay, that is the explore phase done. Now we get to attack. We have our 8 physical plus 0 from over here. And we're going to hang on to our XP here until we've defeated this guy. So I'm fighting both of their defense here. So I have to apply 3 to him. I am going to use our tracker here. So we've got 8 attack points. We're going to spend 3 on him, down to 5. We get an XP for that. So we're up to 8 XP. And we have, and I didn't even think through this, so we kind of got lucky here. Oh, shucks. We kind of got lucky that this card has the fire trait. Not all of Temperance's cards do. So That is fortunate for us because that fire trait buffs our bright sword. So we're going to activate bright sword now, and that's going to get us another 8, and that's going to be plenty to destroy this guy, I think. That'll get us up to 13 again. Haha, 13 is just enough. Well, it's 1 surplus because we would have needed 12. So far so good. We're in control of the board. We've got 3 XP coming in from him. Now we've got 11 XP total. That's wonderful. Okay, that is good enough for that round. We'll do, just checking on my camera, make sure we're still recording here. I think my phone is running out of space, so I want to make sure that it doesn't just stop recording on me and I just talk into the ether and it doesn't get it on camera. Update the location. We'll still just remove the new location token, even though that effect placed this first threat token on there. Produce light. Now we're going to finally upgrade our light production here because we were getting ourselves in trouble. So it's 6 to advance to the next space. 11 minus 6 is what? 5. I like to keep some on hand, even though we could spend that to upgrade our cards. I'm going to keep some on hand because Bright Sword is really doing a lot of good work for us. So we did that before we produced light, so now we're going to produce light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we can start, I want to have a budget surplus. I want to spend less than 6 light for a few rounds and get us out of this scary territory of populating new enemies every round. We're not gonna rest. We might rest. We are. One way you can rest, it's photonic rest, I believe. I think there's physical rest refers to discarding or spending XP to rest. Photonic is discarding a beacon to do so. And we get to rest for 2. So we're going to discard this. We get to remove 2 wounds, so now we only have 2. However, the downside to that is you add an obstacle to the location every time you discard a beacon for one of its 2 discard effects. However, I know there's ways to ignore obstacles or to get rid of them. One of them is right here in Scorchright's cut and run effect that we don't have. Skill that we don't have. Okay, draw to our hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh man, we're going to advance corruption already. I forgot to discard here. I'm going to discard everything first. And shift this over. And we advance corruption. Our distance cube doesn't move. It's still in the same section. We got to start adding cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to start adding cards to our deck because, as you can imagine, that's going to help us not go through our deck so often because corruption is going to start being a real problem. What's our corruption limit? Pretty high with, yeah, it's 9 corruption. But there's lots of enemies out here that key off of what your corruption is. We've seen a few of them. So that's going to start becoming a problem, especially when you start hitting 4. There's a few that's the threshold you need to hit. And then on top of that, as soon as we get into the next corruption space, travel is going to be that much harder. So we're going to have to really try to rely on like smaller jumps. We've been doing really good so far. Okay, let's go to staging for the next round. Our total darkness is 4 plus 1 on the location, so that's 5. That means we're pulling from the Doom deck. There's a Djinn of Ire. Oh man, we want him to not be in the quest area. So he's only 3 darkness. We got 2 more. A Pyrus Lobber. When this enemy attacks, place 1 threat token on the location. We don't want to let that happen. Okay. That is staging. I feel like we can handle these guys, especially with Bright Sword souped up like it is. I'm going to try to keep us to spending 4 light or less. So I'm going to sort these by cost again. And we can't do that. Look what I got in my hands. 1, yeah, we can't do that. But we could spend 5. Here's a 1. I've got 2 costs, and the rest are 3 costs. And that's what's going to start happening to us once we start upgrading cards, flipping them to their other side, because those get more expensive. So I'd like to feel a little more comfortable about where we are in terms of light before I start doing some of that. I'm just going to assume that with our 5 XP here, and if we can play an Earth element, my goodness, we're really close to disaster on some of these, because at some point that's going to fail us, and we're not going to have the Earth element we want, but for now we do. So we're going to play that as our booster for sure. We're going to play... We've got 2 explore points coming, plus another 3, so that'll be 5. So I'm not too concerned about that. But I want to try to spend 5 light if I can, which means I got to play these 2 cards. So I'm choosing between Fan the Flame. That's good once we have... I mean, we could use Burnout or Blazing Torch, but I don't know if we need it right now. And then that is adding obstacles to the location. And that just gets more fire cards in our hands. Which one would I rather be attacking with? I wish I could afford these, but I think we need a recovery turn in terms of light. Especially if Pride's coming out, I'm going to want some more powerful cards in my hand, and those are going to be more expensive, and I just don't want to be in trouble going into that. So I'm just setting these down so I'm not tempted to use them. What's the better type to play? Yeah, okay, we're going to play this. We're going to play Fan the Flame as our attack card. The main reason is it's physical. And that's going to bypass at least some of this defense out here. And then this is going to be our action card, Scout Ahead. I'm actually probably not going to resolve this, which is unfortunate. But our strategies are on Brightsword right now. Once we get Burnout unlocked, we're going to start doing some cool Scorchlight shenanigans, especially if we start getting overrun. However, things are going well. I'm not certain that I'm going to start getting overrun yet, but we will find out. Okay, let's pay for our cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, minor budget surplus, but at least it was a surplus. So we're still in the 3 section. Those guys come down. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 explore points to use, and they can all go on a location. That feels good. Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2. Pride. So Pride puts darkness up here equal to our corruption, which continues to go up. So our 5 explore points are reduced to 2. Yeah, Pride. Okay. I hope we don't end up hanging out here too long. Okay, now let's attack. We've got 2 physical plus 3, so that's 5 physical. As per usual, we're going to activate Brightsword in the middle of this process. So we've got 5 physical attack here. We're going to use it on this guy because he's got the better XP reward. So that's 3. So we've got 2 left. He is Dusk, but we get the 2 XP from him. So we're up to 7 XP. Now we're going to activate Brightsword. We do have a fire card over here. So that means we get the 1-to-1. So we get to add 7. Now we're back up to 9. That is awesome. 9 attack points, and this is physical. So all we can afford to do is... Oh, I didn't do that guy's ability last round, I don't think. I'm going to put that on there. All we can afford to do is actually attack this guy. So we've got 9 attack points left. We could destroy this Soul Conspirator, but he's going to soak up 4 of our attack points. That means the Genevier needs to be our priority target, partly because of the XP, but also he's got 5 attack, and that that would hurt us pretty badly. So we're going to spend our remaining 9. I'm glad we have enough on that Doom enemy, and that'll get us 3 XP. And now we're up to a nice even 10. That seems to be where we're hanging out every round right now. Okay. Now, for the first time, this Soul Conspirator is going to attack us. He's going to put on another progress on the Treachery per his ability. That's the timing, is at the end of the attack phase. Now we're 1 away from this being completed. Not great. And you can see I feel in control of the game right now, but we're just teetering on the edge of the wheels falling off because this Treachery is going to go off soon, potentially. Pride is going to come out soon, which they're usually pretty tough. So he's going to attack us. Do I just want to take it as wounds? I think I do. I'm going to take it as a wound. He's got the 1 attack. I could defend with cards, but Corruption is I think Corruption is a more pressing threat than HP death. So we're going to try to mitigate Corruption by not discarding cards to defend. And that is the defend phase. Now we do the refresh phase. Now we're going to put another one on the location, another threat token. That's going to mean we're up to 6 threat, which is scary in and of itself, but it also means at the end of that staging phase, Pride's going to come out. Yeah, so I'm going to make sure I'm doing the timing right of... Well, intervene, your total threat is 6 or more. Let's check out Shadows. When you meet the conditions for the Shadows intervene condition, at the end of the next round's staging phase, reveal the shadow into the quest area. Oh, okay, so we do get it's a latent effect here. So the intervene condition is met, then we're going to flip Pride, and then that signifies the next round's staging phase she's going to come out. Which is not a horrible thing, because maybe if we're aggressive here, we could travel. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to. We wanted that big attack last round, and so we signed ourselves up for a small explore. Okay, so next round. Actually, no, that's going to happen this round because our total threat is 6 or more right now in the refresh phase. Aha, so she is going to come out. So that's going to be a bonkers turn. Yeah, so her intervene condition, your threat is 6 or more. That happened right now in the refresh phase after we put this. And so next round, that's how I'm going to play this. I could see that's a little ambiguous, so I'm going to try to address that probably in the rules somehow. But this is how I think a player would play it, so that's how we're going to play it. Because that condition is met right now. New round. Well, we have to finish refresh first. So we're going to discard these, slide this over, draw our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Produce light. Now I'm deciding if I want to buy anything. I think now's the time. You don't have to, you can level up whenever you want. You don't have to do it right now. I like to do it right now, mostly because it sometimes affects your light production and your rest values. We're going to produce light. Okay. And then it's only going to cost us 4. I'm going to save that. We might do that last second. We're going to see what comes off of that deck. Okay, staging phase. We got 4 natural threat from our threat track plus another 2. That's 6 threat, and then Pride's going to come out after that. Okay, this is what you sign up for when you play on these harder difficulties. I think this is a really pivotal turn for us. This is going to dictate how the rest of the game goes, in my opinion. So let's do it. We got 4, 6. We reveal a Druidane spellcaster. Just absolutely nasty, and you don't want them around when you're traveling. Big, beefy enemy there. So that's 4 of our 6. A Soul Assassin, 5, 6, 7. Ah, the loose change got us again. This is a Green Wraith. And it has, 3 attack because our corruption is 3. And that's a slow enemy, so that goes back here. I'm kind of glad that enemy was slow, just to make sure we hit this guy, but I think all 3 of them are coming down anyway. And then Pride. Let's take a look at Pride. She's worth 4 XP, 13 hit points. She's a fast enemy, 5 and 5 for darkness and attack. Shadow, Molten Assassin Tracker. If Pride is not already in the quest area at the end of the engagement phase, she moves to the quest area. You may advance the threat track 2 spaces to prevent this. So at the end of the engagement phase means she's going to be really annoying, because she's going to be where she's the least welcome all the time. Because what happens is she's going to basically hang out in this quest area and be an extra 5 darkness going on. And so unless we can pull her, which many of the luminaries have a pull effect, and I don't have any. So if I want this to happen, I need to advance to my threat track. Or I could just say, yeah, for the rest of the game, there's an extra 5 darkness in the quest area. Because after the engagement phase, she's going to move back up. Okay, let's find out. That was staging. That looks pretty scary, huh? Okay, let's look at our cards. Here's where we might get a little bit crazy and start doing some upgrading. I think we're going to do that. So we're going to spend 4 XP. That brings us down to 6. Oops. 5, 6. And that means we get to recruit a card, and then... So our market is going to be the top 3 cards. Darn it, and there's no Earth element. Here's a really cheap card. That might be worth it just because it's cheap. And these are fire. Do I want any of these effects? Oh, that's healing. Now that's good. And that's also healing. Oh man, that's pretty powerful, but it's expensive. And I'm on a light diet at the moment. I really like the potential for this to get us caught up. So we're gonna recruit that one. It goes right into our hand. And then one of the other 2 we have to cycle. I kind of like them both. I'm gonna cycle this one. So this will be our next market, is the top 3 cards here. There's an Earth element for next time. That's expensive. Darn it. Okay, that's how it goes. But we still get to upgrade a card. I'm gonna check out the backs of all of these. Okay, that lets us manipulate our skills. Unfettered Resolve here. Good Explore. Ooh, now this might be the answer to Pride. Ignore up to 5 darkness in the quest area. What I kind of need is a big attack card. So I'm going to look at our big attack cards over here. Burning Bright goes up to a 5 cost, but look at that, 15 attack. Discard any number of attached fire cards. Okay, I think we're going to go this one. But we'll check out what Equilibrium does. 12 attack and 6 explore points. It's actually pretty even. Reveal a dusk enemy. The cost of your next growth this round is reduced to 1. I mean, look at that. That could be critical. I like this too much, though. Burning Bright. That'll be our upgrade. That's a 5 cost. Okay. Back to action set phase. Well, we have Burning Bright. We have an Earth element in hand. So that's for sure going to be, we need to activate Bright Sword. What I'm contemplating already is we might have more people coming down than we have tools to deal with them. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would bring us to the edge of, well, both the 5 engagement area and possibly. What I'm trying to decide is, do we play Burning Bright for that 15 attack stat, or do we play it for this awesome ability? And so then I have to go look, how many other fire cards do we have in hand? We have 1, 2 is all. If we had From the Ashes unlocked, that would do more for us. So attaching those, eight, 9, 10, 11 versus 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. I think this is going to be a workaround to deal with Pride. So we're going to play Burning Bright for its, we'll see if this actually works. It's a fun turn anyway. Discard any number of attached fire cards if discarded from an enemy. Deal that enemy 6 wounds. We're not attaching it to the location. That would be this other skill down here. Okay, and then why not? We're going to play Equilibrium. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 light we've spent. We've blown our budget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At the end of the engagement phase, we're going to have to deal with this, but at least we didn't get into the 5 section here. Okay, enemies are going to engage us. All 4 of these are coming down. And then we're going to reveal a Dusk enemy. We have a Molten Spellcaster. When revealed, choose, remove 2 progress from the location or take 1 wound. I am so scared of my wounds right now that we're going to do that. And if we couldn't do this, we would have to resolve the other one. And that's 2 darkness for the quest area. The nice thing is Pride is not up here anymore as a meddler, but right now is when she would, it's the end of the engagement phase and she would come up here. There's no such thing as action windows in this game, but there kind of are. It's mostly free form. You can basically do whatever you want, whenever you want. You just can't interrupt other effects unless it's a when effect. That's an interrupt. So we could right now, before Pride moves up, and we're gonna attach cards to her with our Blazing Torch. So our Blazing Torch skill is active and unlocked. It's active because we played an Earth element. Attach X plus 1 fire cards to enemies in your player area. Then push X enemies. X is the number of advanced cards in your hand. We don't have any advanced cards in our hand, so we don't get that kicker, but it's X plus 1. So there's always at least 1. What we're going to do, I don't know if this was smart or not. We're going to attach this fire card, fire traded card, to Pride. And, oh man, let me think. We're going to spend 4 XP to unlock 2 more skills. We're growing right here. I really want Burnout active. And we'll do Reflection. So we've got all 4 of our Earth skills. Okay, so Burnout says in the refresh phase, deal 3 wounds to enemies per fire attachment they have. And then reflection here, if 4 or more unspent XP, scout one location, enemy, or treachery. Scout means you get to look at it. So it's like scrying. And then if we have an ice kicker, you may cycle the scouted card. Pretty cool. Okay, that was the engagement phase. So Pride is going back up. We're not going to do her condition that keeps her down here. But she has a fire attachment, which is super fun. I'm not going to fire this. I'm not going to resolve this Burning Bright yet because I want this burnout skill to do its job first. So now we have, oh man, the unfortunate task of, man, doing the darkness phase here. We've got 5 explore points here, 6, 7. Oh, we just barely made it. So we've got 7 explore points. That's just enough to cover the 5, 6, 7 in the quest area. We're at 5 progress on the treachery, and it has a progress value of 6. So that could have been bad. It has a nasty effect that's going to deal us wounds, and it buffs photonic defense on enemies for the rest of the game. So dodged one there. Now we move on to the, I mean, we didn't drop any progress here, so we're not going to travel. I'm getting pretty scared of this. We got to emphasize this in the future, but we'll worry about that on a future turn here. We're going to attack now. Or wait. Yeah, we're going to attack. So we've got 8 physical attack. Plus 3, so 11 physical attack. That's not enough to take out the Druidane Spellcaster. He's got 12 hit points. So we're just one short. So if we wanted to, we could trigger Bright Sword right now. We do have a fire card over here, so we get the kicker. That would give us the 2 extra to defeat him. But I think we can be craftier than that. And we're going to spend, so it's physical, we're ignoring that defense. We're going to spend 4 here. So we're down to 7. And that gets us another 2, 4. Okay, we're up to 4. We got 7 attack points left. And both these guys are contributing their defense. Can I even do this? So this is going to eat up 4 of my 7. And this is going to eat up, so we'd have to trigger it after that. 6, 5, 4, 3. We'd have 3 left. And we'd have 5. Oh no, we can't do that. That's not going to work. Let's undo this. Back down to 2, and we generated 8. Ha ha ha! Come on, Bright Sword. I mean, we could flip this and use it again. You can exhaust a skill token to use it again. I just don't. I don't want to do that. Oh, this could be a rough turn. Okay, we're going to activate Bright Sword now. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to activate Bright Sword right now because it doesn't matter. Like if I use my 4 here, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. He gets us 2 back, but I'm losing, I'm still just shy of being able to defeat this Druidane Spellcaster. Is that even the right thing to do, though? So basically my choice here is defeat this guy, get 4 XP, avoid that 3 attack. Or defeat like all 3 of those guys. Maybe that is the right way to go. And then just put partial damage on this guy. Okay, let's do that instead. We're going back to plan A. We're just resetting our expectations here. So we're going to devote 4 to the green Wraith here, back down to 7. That gets us another 2, so we're up to 4. We have 7 attack points left. We're going to spend 4 of it on, let's say this guy. So that's 3 attack points left. And we get another XP. So we're up to 5. And actually we have 3 attack points left. So that's going to go on him. That's just enough to kill him. So that gets us 1 more. Now we fire Bright Sword. That gets us +6 from here. And he's got photonic defense, so we don't have to worry about that. So we actually get to put 6 wounds on him. I think this was the right decision. Phew. Now it's the defend phase. Make sure we're still rolling. We are, that's great. Now it's the defend phase. It's going to hit us with 3. Now we're getting into the territory where I'm starting to think about defending with cards, because we have 8 hit points and we've got 3 wounds on us. And another 3 wounds would take us to 6. That's 2 wounds within HP death, and I don't want that. So now I'm starting to think about defending with cards. So he's got photonic type, and so I need to defend with cards of that type. So here we've got Winds of Change is the right type. That could be 1 defense. Here's another defense, so that's 2 of the 3. Actually, we're going to keep this one in hand. And we're going to defend from off the top of our deck. There. So that was 2 cards, took care of all 3 attack. And that is it for the defend phase. Now we're in the refresh phase. And so now we get to do our little gimmick here with Pride. So we're going to trigger Burnout first. So Burnout says refresh phase, deal 3 wounds to enemies per fire attachment they have. Pride has 1 fire attachment. And so she takes 3 damage. Now we could just leave this on and she'd be taking 3 damage every round. I don't like having cards out of play for very long if I can help it. So I want to get that back into circulation to help slow down my corruption. But the other reason we're going to get rid of that is Burning Bright says discard any number of attached fire cards. If discarded from an enemy, deal that enemy 6 damage. So we are going to discard this attachment. And then that's going to deal her another 6. She's got 9 wounds on her. 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 1 more. 9. Okay, she has 13 hit points. That's direct damage, so that bypasses her defense. Okay, I'm not feeling in control anymore, but that was a good turn regardless. So let's head up to the refresh phase here. We'll update the location. There's 3 darkness. We got to get out of here. That's going to be a real problem. So we got to get out of here. So we need to emphasize exploring next round. Produce light. We've got 6 XP. I don't feel like upgrading anything, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we need to go on a light spending diet again. Produce light, rest. I don't think we're gonna rest. Discard, we will do that. Slide this over, and then draw to our hand size. 1, 2, 3. We need to shuffle up again, so now we're advancing corruption. 2, 3, our hand size is still 6. Four, 5, 6. And that is the end of the round. Okay, staging. This is gonna be scary. Really scary. All right. Oh man, okay. We've got 4 natural threat plus another 3, so we're revealing 7. Let's get this over with. Threaten Hillman, that's only 3 darkness. So that's 3. How much left? We have 4 remaining to reveal. If you have 4 or less, you start revealing from dusk. So this could get a little hairy here. There's a Terragard Watchman. So that's 3, 4, 5. That's a slow enemy. We have 2 more to reveal. Ah, darn it. Okay, so that's a 1 darkness enemy, a Pyrus Razor. And then there's another Soul Conspirator. You can see it's starting to get a little crowded up there. One nice thing is Pride's going to come down and engage us no matter what, because we're going to be in that at least that 3 territory. So at least she'll be out of there. Let's look at their abilities. We revealed him last round, I believe, so we don't have to deal with his when revealed. Okay, some of these are just affecting travel. Okay. Action set phase. Let's look at our options here. We could afford to level up if we wanted another big card, but we're in light trouble here. So unless something's going to help us with that. Winds of Change. It's too bad that's not an earth element, but at least it's a 0 cost. Like that can help us make up some money. Some light, that is. That's when you reveal Treacheries, which seriously might happen this round. When a Treachery is completed, gain 3 XP. How much is that? 2 light. Worth considering. If you resolve your burnout skill, deal +3 to 1 enemy that takes damage from it. Maybe we want that. Ignore 1 enemy's effect. That could prevent Pride from going back up too. It's not a bad idea. Oh, and that's a 1 cost. Okay. What's the most we could do with the least here? We could ignore Pride's effect for 1 cost. This could be, well, we need an Earth booster. This would be our Earth booster. We're going to do that. So, Control Disruption, that's our booster. Calculated Risk, I think will be our attack. That's 8 physical, partly because Pride, oh no, Pride is physical. This guy's photonic though. Yeah, and I don't have much for good photonic cards, regardless. Okay, and we'll play this one to ignore Pride's text box. And that was a cheap-ish turn, at least under budget. So 1, 2, 3, 4 light. That still takes us into 4 engagement territory. How important is it to me? We need Earth Booster. We need a fire card over here. And so we can't play Winds of Change. We could play Winds of Change as our attack. That takes us down from 8 to 3. 8. That's a difference of 5. But I'm really nervous about just getting overrun up here and taking more wounds. So I don't know if this is the right move, but we're going to play Winds of Change instead. That's 2 less light we've spent, so we're still in the 3 engagement territory. We've got 4, 5, 6. That's going to fire the Treachery. I don't think I have any way to buff my Treachery's going off anyway. Do we just decide we're going to make some money off of it? It's not a fire card, though. I'm going to swap this out. I think we'll play Easy Target as our action. If you resolve your burnout skill, deal +3 wounds to one enemy that takes wounds. I think that's going to be our Pride Killer right there. So that was 2, so I spent... That was 2 instead of 1. So we are going to go down to here, but we're still not in that 4 section. Okay. Engagement phase. The front 3 are going to get us. Come engage us, that is. Now it's the darkness phase. We're generating 4, 5, 6 explore points. So that covers 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1. There is 1 uncovered. So do we just let a little bit more go on since that's triggering anyway? Because if I can get to at least 3, or if I could get up to 5. So what happens if I just cover one of these? That gets to 3, 4, 5, 6. That puts 6 on this. Because we got to get out of here. This is we're in a death spiral here. So I'm gonna leave 5 uncovered. Or I'm only gonna apply it to covering 1. I'm gonna leave 6 uncovered. And that means 5 is gonna come over here on the location, but I'm gonna put it nearby it instead of on it so I can remember that that's going on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is going on the Treachery. The thing about this is progress carries over. So 1 is good enough to complete this. I'm going to set this to the side because we have another 5 and change to do after this. But Spell of Confusion says for every saved beacon, we don't have any. So we're going to skip that clause. And then it says if you had no beacons to discard, take 2 wounds. So we're up to 5 wounds. And we have 8 hit points. That completes this. So the ongoing effect is on for the rest of the game. Enemies with photonic defense have +1 defense. Not good. Flip a new Treachery. Wildfires. When completed, lose 5 XP. I also think in a newer version I'm going to add an extra clause if you can't lose 5 XP. So, but for now we're going to play it as written. That's got 6 progress value. And we got to put 5 progress on it because that was what carried over from our previous one. So at least it doesn't complete another one. And maybe I'll regret that, but I think the imminent threats are pressing enough that we need to focus on that. And what's Envy's Treachery limit? 6 completed Treachery, so in theory, things could go pretty bad before that happens. Okay. That was the darkness phase. Oh, hold up. Pride needed to go up. Oh, it's horrible. So this progress is not going on the location. Pride is going to go up, but before she does that, we're going to trigger Blazing Torch, which attach X+1 fire cards to enemies. We're going to attach this one to Pride before she goes. She sails up into the quest area. That was an extra 5 darkness. That's why I took that progress away. And then in the refresh phase, we'll get to deal with her. I don't get to push any enemies because I don't have any other upgraded cards in my hand. Oh, you can tell from the tone of my voice that I think we're not going to win this one. But you never know. Never know. I think the biggest concern is this threat is stacking up, and that's just eventually going to be more than we can handle. But we'll find out. Okay, now we're finally in the attack phase. So we've got 3 photonic, 4, 5, 6 photonic attack. We're going to use our dial here. Darn it. So this guy's got photonic defense, or else that would have been enough. Is he going to get another round with us? I hope not. Because I can't defeat him. Oh, unless I do Bright Sword right away, which I think I'm going to do. So we could get 6 because we've got a fire card over here. So that would take us up to 12. That would be 6, 7, 8. That would leave one of these guys remaining, which is not the end of the world. What if I spent this? So what if I spent 6 and got down to 4? Got rid of him and had an extra one here, then trigger it, and that would take us up to, well, if I went down to 3, so that's 1 plus another 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's not enough. So I have to do it in this order. We're going to trigger it right now. We're going to trigger Bright Sword. We've got the 1-to-1 ratio because we've got the fire for the kicker. So that's another 12. All right, it's another 6, so we're up to 12 total attack points. He's got 6 wounds on him. It's going to take another 6 wounds plus another 2 for that defense. So that's going to cost us 8. So then we'll have 4 remaining. But at least this guy's gone. And that's 4 XP. That doesn't buff our Bright Sword, by the way, because that's a 1x ability. It takes a snapshot of it. We've got 4 photonic attack remaining. Which one of these guys do we want gone worse? And that's this guy, because if he's around, he puts progress on the Treachery, and that would complete that Treachery. So we're going to spend 2 on him. That gets us 1 XP. And then we'll spend our other 2 on him, and that gets us 2 out of the 3 wounds on him. We were just 1 short of getting all of our player area clear. But I'm not going to complain about that. We kind of made that mess ourselves here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got 11 XP out there. Now it's the attack phase, or the defense phase. He's going to attack us. He's got physical. Yeah, we're going to defend with this card instead of taking wounds. I'm just getting really nervous about those wounds. Now's the fun part here, because I think we got Pride. So, Easy Target says if you resolve your Burnout skill, which is this guy, deal plus 3 wounds to one enemy that takes wounds from it. Burnout deals 3 wounds in the refresh phase automatically. So then Pride is going to be taking 6 wounds from this. She's already got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's more than good to defeat her. 13 hit points. We did need this, though. We were going to be 1 short without it. So Pride, the Shadow, is defeated. She's given us 4. That is going to get us up to 15 XP. She's out of play. She's up there. Okay, if we can clean up this mess, I mean, Pride really set us back, but if we can clean up this mess, and if we can get traveled out of here, maybe we can survive. Okay, let's do refresh, update the location. That's another whole threat. That's getting ridiculous. Produce light. We have 15 XP over here. We can only max out at plus 10 from our Bright Sword, so we might as well spend some of it. What I'm looking at over here is I would love to upgrade my light production, but there's this hand size and rest value in the way. I think we're going to hold on to it. I mean, we could spend 10 and get an upgraded card, and then on top of that, get 2 more skills unlocked, which I'm not too concerned about getting more skills unlocked right now, because we've got 4. Hey, we should activate Reflection, by the way. we've got 4 of our earth type skills unlocked. Was my goal, so I'm not too concerned about unlocking more, although there is some cool stuff here we could do. Like cut and run would be useful for travel, so would sabotage. Okay, reflection here says if 4 or more unspent XP, scout 1 location, enemy, or treachery. Do we have ice on our action card? No. But we can scout. What's going to be the most useful to scout? Probably a location. I'm just going to flip it face up so we know what it is. Terramore is going to be the next location. Which is not a bad destination for us at all. Except I want beacons. Okay. Produce light. 6 light production. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then discard. And draw up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't advance corruption yet. And we're ready for the next round. I'm gonna check the time here. Sure, let's do another round before I take a little break here. It might be our last round anyway, who knows? We're looking at the staging phase. We're at 4 natural threat plus another 4 from the location, so we're at 8. That means we're revealing Doom, our own Doom. There's 3 of it. A Terramorian Lurker. Darn it. Okay. 3. We still have to reveal Doom because there's 5 darkness remaining to reveal. Another Druidane Spellcaster. That's 4. And he's way in the back, so when we travel, that's going to be a bugger. And then we've got some threatened marshals, and of course we've got that spare change to deal with. Because that's been our luck this game. When defeated, add progress to the treachery equal to your corruption. Nasty enemy there. Nasty. Like, if it wasn't such bad attack, I'd say let's just leave him out there. So I really should be trying to use resist here to get progress off of that treachery. But look at that board state, you guys. That is how much more difficult the game becomes when you add a shadow to it. Okay. That's the staging phase. Were there any when revealed? This guy was out there. Looks like we're all good on that. Let's see. Staging phase. Let's do our action set phase. I think let's buy an upgraded card. So I'm going to sort these by cost. And we might just have to go for broke here. Yeah, so we're gonna spend 5 we're gonna recruit a card and upgrade a card. So here's our market. We really want that earth, so that's not even, I'm not even gonna look at what it does. I want that earth element. And then one of these, well, this lets you disarm. Hold up. We're gonna pick that one. You may discard up to 4 cards, disarming 1 enemy. So that advances your corruption. Discarding cards is bad. I'm not as worried about our corruption as I am about just HP death right now. So that's what we're triaging here. So we're going to recruit that one. And that might even be our action this round. Not bad. Okay, then we have to cycle one of these 2 that we didn't pick. Inner Strength is expensive, and that's an earth element. So that's a cheaper earth element, though. So, okay. And then that'll be our next market. And we get to upgrade a card. Windwall. I'm not interested in getting rid of that disarm. Shortcut is an amazing card. Why would I upgrade it? Oh, put progress on the location equal to twice the number of threat on it. There's 4 threat on it. That would be 8. And then do not place threat on the location during the refresh phase. And it's got a good attack. We're considering that. We're considering it. Fan the Flame. What do we got? Eh. Too tricksy. I just need some raw power here. That's for growth. Not interested. I just need to survive this turn. Disarm. 1 enemy per 2 unspent XP. Oh boy! If you have 7 or more unspent XP, remove all progress from the Treachery. Yep, that's the guy. That's the guy right there. Man, so I hate upgrading an Earth card, because that more or less takes this off the table as a booster, because I want my booster to be able to be cheap. Is that hurting us this turn? No, we have a cheap booster right there. Okay. All right, let's do this. This is going to be a big turn. Let's do the action set phase here. I'm not going to disarm. I paid good money for this guy, so why not? I'm just so nervous about this. Sure, there's 10 light right there. That would take us down to 6. Oh my goodness. That's going to take us within an inch of our life because we have to take 2 wounds. It seems necessary. I don't see another way out of this. Oh man. And then we need our Earth booster. Okay. 5 light here, 5 light there, 1 light there, so that's 11. We'll go from 16 to 6, then down to 5. So we have to remember to do this after the engagement phase, which we'll do right now. Everybody, just about everybody, is coming down to engage us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have to take 2 wounds. So we're up to 7 wounds of our 8. And then we have to spawn a new Doom enemy. That is a Cursed Banneret for every card you defend with against this enemy. So he's got 4 sitting up there. So there's 8 darkness in the quest area. And now we'll do the explore phase. So we've got two over here. This is a match with our permanent booster, so we've got 4 total explore points. Oh my goodness. That's another Treachery. Wait, no. Okay, Firm Footing here is our action card. We paid for that, so let's use it. This top effect, disarm 1 enemy per 2 unspent XP you have. If you have 7 or more unspent XP, which we do, we have 10, remove all progress from the Treachery. That is going to save our lives right now. So we have to fire this now. I would want to wait until we had more XP after we defeated some enemies, but that Treachery is going to go because we can't cover that darkness. So we're going to trigger this now. Also, I hope I've been taking note of these bad mandatory effects, like this one if your attack or explore card is lost. I may have missed a few of these. I feel like I haven't been looking for them, so we have to make sure our attack or explore card is not lost so we don't get that negative effect. Okay, we're triggering this now. We get to discard 5 enemies, and we get to remove all progress from the Treachery, which that feels like it might be the difference between whether we lost this turn or not. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to tilt these guys to know which ones I disarmed. So which ones am I going to want to make sure that I defeat this round? I mean, all but 1 I get to disarm. So let's just disarm all of these guys and then leave him undisarmed. That is so cool. That was expensive. It took us within an inch of our life, but it might be the difference this game. Okay, that was the engagement phase. Now we're doing the darkness phase. We have our 2, 3, 4 explore points against the 8 in the quest area. So that means 4 goes on the Treachery, which thanks to our Firm Footing action, we don't have to fire that Treachery. I have to remember this ongoing effect. Enemies with photonic defense have +1 defense, so that might affect us next turn, actually, because we have a physical attack here. Okay, we didn't put any progress here. Man, we did not put any progress there. Worry about it next turn. We're in a death spiral. Let's do the attack phase. Got 15, 16, 17, 18. Any shenanigans going on? Yeah, we have Bright Sword, but we're gonna... Well, we might as well trigger Bright Sword right now because we have a max of +10. Oh, we don't have a fire card here, though. Firm Footing is not fire, so we have the worst conversion ratio. So this would only be a +5. So if we're gonna kill a few first. So we have 15, 16, 17, 18 physical. That's a lot. Maybe we can clear the board. That'd be sweet. Let's get this guy. Oh my goodness, these are all physical defense except for him. Let's get this guy. He's got 4 photonic. Down to 14. But he gets us 2 XP for our trouble there. Okay, we're up to 12. Who else can we get? This guy only needs 2. That's a pretty good investment, I would say. 1, 2. And he gets us 1. So up to 13. This guy gets us... Oh my gosh, this guy's going to complete the Treachery. He is disarmed. Maybe we hold off? We just eat that attack next round? We'll find out. We've got 12 physical attack, and this guy takes 11, so that would take us down to 1. And he gets us another 3, so that's 16. Okay, so we've got 1 left. Now we're going to trigger Bright Sword, and that's the 2-to-1 conversion ratio instead of 1-to-1. So we've got 16. That gets us another 8, so we're back up to 9 attack points. 9 physical attack. Oh man, just shy of getting this guy. We're 1 point short on that guy. Okay, we'll get this guy. 4, 5, 6. That takes us down to 3. That's another 2. You can hear my cat whining. He wants in this room, but he would destroy this game, so he's not getting in. We've got 3 attack points left. Let's put it on him. So he's 1 short of death. Okay, and they're both disarmed, so they're not going to attack me. I'll straighten them up. Okay. I feel like let's do another round. I was pretty confident I was going to lose on that turn, so might as well do another round. Update the location. We're up to 5. Threat on the location and no progress. I don't even have a 5 denomination of this token because this shouldn't be happening. We can scout something if we want. What do we want to scout? Let's scout the Treachery so we know what's coming next. Oh man, that's nasty. Okay. Do we want to attach any fire cards? We could do that yet. I have no leveled up cards, but I could basically I could spend one of these cards to attach it and then deal them 3 damage. Yeah, let's do that to this guy. So I'm going to pick which card we attached to this card per Blazing Torch. We've triggered it per Burnout. Actually, that stays out there. So put 3 wounds on him. He'll be that much easier to kill next time. Okay. We updated the location. We'll discard. We need to produce light. Now we have a bunch of money here, and I think let's start spending it. So we're going to spend 14 of our 16, man, no, 18. Yeah, we got 18. So we'd have 4 remaining. Kind of hard to get myself to do that, but I really want that extra light production. So our hand size just went up and our light production went up. Do we need to rest? Resting would heal us for 3. Resting is what? The cost of 3 XP? Yeah, 3 XP. I think we got it because we're so close. We're on the edge of death there. So, and our rest value right here is 3. So we'll take 3 wounds off. 7, 6, 5, 4. We'll have 4 wounds. Gives us a little breathing room, but it really hurts our bright sword next go around. Okay. Draw to your hand size. Our new hand size is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to advance corruption. Five, 6, 7. We drew none of our good cards, or none of our big cards anyway. Okay, how's my phone doing? Hanging in there? Let's do another round. 0 there. I'm sorting these. 1. Okay. Man. And it's going to be a while before I can get to buying some upgraded cards. We failed to produce light here, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we did need to rest, because no matter what, we're getting down into this territory, and that would have killed us, so. Okay, yeah, we're still probably going to lose this turn, but we gave it a good run. Let's find out. Staging, so we got 4 plus another 5, so that's 9. There's a Shadian Tracker, that's 3. A Necromage, he's nasty, 6. What did I say we needed? 9? So we need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, any when revealed effects? Yeah. When revealed, choose remove. This is a Molten Spy. Choose remove X progress from the location or add X to the Treachery, where X is the number of, what are these? Plotters? No. I forget the faction names. Whatever this faction is, enemies in play. I'm gonna look at my rulebook here. Da, 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 da. I don't have it on the back of the rulebook. Yeah, I do. Disruptors. Okay, for however many disruptors are in play, I can't remove progress from the location, so I need to add X progress to the Treachery. Okay, how many of these guys are in play? 1, 2. There's only 2. This is where the game scales up in difficulty with 2 players because there's more of these conditional effects triggering. But that's just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just enough to complete this Treachery. Man. Well, actually, that was a good time to do that. Lose 5 XP. I think I am going to add an extra condition if you didn't lose enough XP. But for now, we're going to play it as it is written. So we lose our 1 XP. That was actually accidentally smart that we spent all of our XP, or else we just lost a bunch of it. Sorry, I bumped my camera there. I'm getting too into this. My hands are moving around. So this triggers... What was on there? Yeah, that was just enough to trigger that one. What's the ongoing effect here? It costs +1 light to play a fire element as your attacker action card. Darn it, we gotta pay attention to that. We're already in light trouble. Okay, the new Treachery is Sabotage. When completed, advance 5 spaces on the resistance track. That would be the nail in the coffin. So I think we just... yeah, we can't let that one go off. Okay, so that's the end of the staging phase. That happened when we revealed that guy. That wasn't even due to poor, poor play. Okay, let's look at the action set phase here. Bright Sword does us a limited amount of good here, but we still might as well play an Earth Booster so that we can get some Blazing Torch stuff going on. Winds of Change. What's my best attack card? Calculated Risk. What action might I want? Attach all fire cards from among your action swarm booster cards to a different enemy in your player area. We might need some of that. That's a little bit of crowd control. So I'm considering this for our action, and it's a fire card. So that is worth considering there. I think we got to play Control Disruption as our booster, because that's our only Earth card. So there's one there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's no way I can spend just 3, is there? If I do spend just 3, or just 2, then only 3 enemies engage me. Which would be these 3. And if I don't do that, then this guy comes down too. And I certainly don't have the firepower to deal with him this turn. But this lets me attach additional fire cards. How many fire cards do I have? At 1. Oh, that's not going to be helpful because that would be taking my fire card out of circulation. Wow. So, wow. Okay. Super defensive turn. We're just playing survival here. We're going to play this as our action. Discard up to 4 cards, disarming 1 enemy per card discard. And then we're going to play Winds of Change as our attack. So this is the skimpiest action set we've ever played this game. We had that one that was like 11 light. This is going to cost us 2. 1, 2, 0. So we'll pay for it. 1, 2. That keeps us in this 3 range, which is huge. Prevents us from spawning an extra enemy, prevents us from taking a wound, and prevents 4 enemy from this guy engaging, basically. So let's have these guys engage. There's 3. I mean, that's good and it's bad, I guess, because I have to somehow get some progress on the location. That's going to kill me. Okay, we got 4 explore points, 5, 6. And there is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the quest area. This is not going well. We'll play it out, but I think I've lost. My 6 against their 10. What would advancing 5 spaces on the track look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the end of the game. So we have to prevent that from going off. So what's the minimum I could devote to this? I can let them put 6 out here. That's these 2 guys. So I need to block this guy. So I need to spend 4 out of my 6 blocking him. I can put 2 on the location. That just doesn't seem like a winning situation here. Okay, that's our explore darkness phase done. We did the explore phase because we put progress here. And then now the attack phase. We've got 3 photonic, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 photonic. We have no XP yet to help us with Bright Sword. So, what can we do with 6 photonic? Oops, forgot to put the progress out here. So there would be 6 here, but I also want to kill this guy. And he puts 5 progress on. There's no way I can block that much. Even if I spent both of those to block more, that would trigger that treachery. And I think that would be the end of the game for us. So unfortunately, this guy might have to stay out there. So you've got 6 photonic. That's enough to kill this guy. But if I just disarm him, maybe I could put a couple on him. So let's focus on these other guys. Let's get this guy. Oh, he has plus X HP. There's 2 completed treacheries. So he's got another 2 HP. So he's got 4 HP. Let's get the dial out. We've got 6 to spend. 6 photonic to spend. What's my best investment here? Really, it'd be that guy, but I can't do that. I could defeat this guy, but he's already got a fire attachment. I don't want to have to go through that guy's photonic defense. How do I get this guy up to enough? I'm talking in circles here. It's because I'm thinking in circles. We're going to spend 4 here. Defeat him. That gets us 1 XP. Yay! Only got 2 left here to spend. And that's what we're going to do with that. We're going to spend that to get him up to 5 wounds. And then that way, when burnout triggers, he's got enough wounds on him that he'll die. So then, before the defense phase here, we're going to disarm a few. Discard up to 4 cards, disarming 1 enemy per card discarded. Can we afford to take a hit from any of these guys? Because I want to attach this fire card. Sure, we're going to take a hit from this guy. So we're going to disarm these 3 with these 3 cards. Discard 3 cards. Disarm, disarm, disarm. Whoops, I meant this. Disarm that. Okay. So then he's going to hit us in the defense phase. Can I take that hit? I can discard 1 to defend for that. I don't want to waste that one, so we're going to take 1 wound from him. So we're sitting at 5 wounds, 8 total HP. So that's everybody has done their attacking who wasn't disarmed. And then I'm actually going to attach this per blazing torch because we can get this guy. So attach that per blazing torch. Now we trigger burnout. Deal 3 wounds to enemies per fire attachment they have. That kills this guy. That's 1 XP. And then it also finally kills this threatened Hillman. We worked hard for that one. He's actually a Doom enemy, and that's another 3 XP. So we're up to 5. And this gets discarded. We survived another round. Let's go another round. Yeah. Okay. Update the location. Now up to 6 threat on a location. Man. Do we want to scry anything? We can scout, but I guess we could scout the next treachery just to see what we're up against. Not that it matters, because I think if this one goes off, that's the end. It's not technically a loss condition, but that's going to advance our threat track, and that's going to just make it unwinnable. Unless we can get out of this location. We're just feeling so stuck here. We got to get out of here. All right, we updated the location. Produce light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finally, some breathing room. We're up to 17 light. we have enough money to do anything? Yeah, we could unlock 2 skills. But this is worth more to us as unspent XP. So we're going to discard. Shift over. Draw our next hand, which is going to advance corruption here because our hand size is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll advance corruption. We're up to 6. I believe Envy's limit was 9, did I say? We could check that, but that is going to happen pretty quickly, especially you can see how quickly it's been going because I've been discarding cards to defend, and I've been discarding cards per some of Mender's, our hobby's abilities here. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 2 of our upgraded cards. I like that. Okay, how's my phone doing? Hanging in there. Hanging in there. So let's keep going. Let's sort these right away. Okay, we got 2 really of our big cards, our upgraded cards. Staging. We've got 4 plus another 6. Woofda, 10. 10 darkness. There's 3 Soul Starcaster. 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's only 4 remaining. So 7, 8, 9. Man. Oh, goodness. X is your corruption. So that guy has actually 6 darkness, but he'll be coming down right away. Oh my goodness. Any abilities we didn't address? I don't see any when revealed abilities. Okay, well, probably will be our final turn of the game. But you know what? I've said that before. Let's see what we can do here. Staging phase done. We gotta get out of here. I don't know how we're gonna get out of here. We might just have to let that treachery go off. How do I maximize my explore here? Do we have a big explore booster? Let's look at our abilities. Okay. Discard fire cards to deal damage. That's good, but I almost want to use that as my attack. Disarm 1 enemy per 2 unspent XP and remove all progress from the treachery. We could do that again. Now we could do this too. If there's at least 3 progress on the location, place 3 on it. If there's at least 6 on the location, place 5 on it. So I need how much? I need 8 to explore this, which means we only need 6 more. So if I can just get 1 more progress on it. So we might have to do that, but I think we're going to die this way then from HP if I do that. So can I somehow get there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need this card to disarm enemies and remove progress from the treachery. But I kind of want to use it as my Earth Booster because it can buff our explore points up. And then what? Play this as our attack? Let's play that out for a second. That would be spending 11 light. Darn it. Which would get us down to here. Sorry for the dead air while I'm thinking. I'm just trying to see if there's a way out of this mess here. And then that would allow me to at least travel. And I think that has to be our only priority. And I have no other way to disarm enemies, correct? Because I don't have a disarm skill. go for it. We're going to try to go out with a bang here. We're going to go aggro on our last turn. So we're going to go 10, 11. Yeah, you guys will have to tell me. I bet if I rewatch this, I'll see a way that I could have gotten out of this. But we're going to try this for now. And we're going to start. We're going to be losing here anyway. So we're going to start flipping these tokens, these skill tokens to resolve these. Okay, so we spent our light. We have to have 5 engages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a full player area. Look at that. Okay, and then we have to spawn a Doom. It's a Galatian Seafarer. Take a look at that guy. Oh, goodness. Okay. And we have to take those 2 wounds, so now we are, once again, 1 wound away from dying. Poor Temperance here has been through a lot. All right, we can do this. Let's do something. Let's go out with a bang at least. Okay, that was the engagement phase. I'm looking over the enemies, making sure that I'm not missing any abilities. Oh, goodness. Okay. We have 1, 2, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 explore points. We only need to put 1 on here. No. No, no, no. That's not right. We need to put... We need 8, 6. There's 6 remaining on there. So we need to get... How do we get within 3 of 8? We need to get ourselves up to 5. So we need to devote 3 to this one. So 3 of our explore points have to go here or we don't travel, and that's just lost because we just can't contend with another round like this. So we're allocating 3 of our explore points to that. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 7 remaining to cover. So we can cover these 2 guys, a 4 and a 3. And that means 3 progress is going on treacheries. So 1 goes here. And we need to put 2 more out, which is better than I was thinking. So this, when it fires, advance 5 spaces on the resistance track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're into 6 territory. Oh my goodness. The ongoing effect is after traveling to one of any of these location types, place 1 darkness token on it, or threat token. And that is what it is. And then this other 2 progress goes here. And let's check Envy's loss conditions again. 9 corruption, we are at 6, or 6 completed treacheries, we have 3. Doesn't it feel like we're a lot closer to losing than that? Because I can see the spiral happening here. Maybe we can dig out of it this turn. We'll find out. Okay. Make sure my camera's still working. We're still on. That was the explore phase. Now, or this is the explore phase here. That's done. And I'm trying to decide. We can trigger this whenever we want to. We're going to trigger this in like the refresh phase, because you travel whenever this happens. Ha 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 ha. Because there's some nasty effects out here that affect us, especially this one, when we travel. Oh, we were just under this guy's limit. If you place more than 3 progress on the location, we did not. Oh, if progress is placed on the treachery during the explore phase, place +2 progress on it. So that's up to 4. That doesn't affect us yet. Okay. We're going to wait to travel and do all of that until after, hopefully, this guy's off the table. That's what I'm thinking right now. So now we do the attack phase. And we've got 15... attack points, actually 18, and we haven't even factored in our bright sword yet, so we've got a fire card over here. I can see just a glimmer of hope here. I can see it. Our goal is to get up to 10 XP to maximize our efficiency with Brightsword. And then we might just flip it and get another 20 out of it. But then we don't have Brightsword. So then we gotta figure something else out. Okay. Got 18 physical. Who's got photonic defense? Well, we want to get that guy for sure. But I'm trying to figure out how to spend the least amount of money here. Six. Yeah, if we defeat this guy now, the treachery gets completed. And what does that do? Advance 1 space on the corruption track. And then it adds distance whenever you travel. My goodness, that's tough. So we're gonna pretend that we can defend that guy. That's gonna be 3 physical defense, because we can't really afford to take it in wounds. We can't afford to take it in wounds. So let's focus elsewhere. What's our best return on our investment in terms of XP? With 18 physical, looking for photonic guys. 12 here. That gets us 4. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go 12 there. That gives us 6 remaining. But that gives us 4. And then, yeah, we're good there. So, what could we do with 6 remaining? Let's get this guy's 4. So we have 2 left. And that gets us another 2. So we have 11. Now we trigger Brightsword. And it's a max of 10, so we're back up to 12. And you know what? We're going to lose this game if we don't, I think. So we're going to trigger Brightsword again and add another 10. 22 remaining. Let's do this. Okay, we got 9 here. That's photonic defense. So that takes us down to 22 minus 10 would be 12. Takes us down to 13. That's another 4. And I have an idea here. We're going to try to get these 2 guys. Take 1 to wound, replace 2 on the treachery. That puts it up to 6 here. But I don't think we have a choice. So that's 3, 4, 5. Down to 8. Oops. That gets us another 2. Gonna spend 2 on this guy. Down to 6. Gets us another 1. And then this guy. Do I just suck it up and get rid of him? Yeah, I think so. So 1, 2. No, just 1. Yeah, 2 with his defense. So he's dead. That's another 2. But with his ability, when defeated, add progress to the treachery equal to your corruption. Our corruption is 6. So there's another treachery going off. So that's 6. It takes 3 more to complete the treachery. The rest has to carry over. So this fires. Advance 1 space on the corruption track. Whoops. We were right there. Wow. So then we get a new treachery. And 3 progress goes on it right away. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 completed treacheries. And the one I'm most concerned about, the ongoing effect here, is this +2 when you travel. But I think I should have just defeated that guy a lot sooner, and then that would have been less penalizing, but so it goes. Okay, we have 4 physical left. That's 1 over his defense, but my plan here is we've got 10. We have 20. We have 20 XP. We're going to get an advanced card in our hand, and that's going to, with Blazing Torch, help us push that guy out of here. So, to do that, we have to spend 5 here and upgrade, unlock 2 skills. Unlock that one. From the Ashes and Discipline. From the Ashes is the skill's token gains the element of your Blazing Torch skill. So this is automatically also Earth. When you attach cards, you may attach them from your discard pile. Since I just got rid of our Bright Sword skill by exhausting it, we're going to need to really rely on Scorchright's loop, and From the Ashes is going to help that loop. And then Discipline here is also Wind, and that lets us ignore darkness in the quest area. Check my phone here. So far, so good. Okay, now we're going to spend another 6 for this next upgrade, because that lets us recruit a card and upgrade 2 cards. So that gets us down to 9, if I'm doing my math correctly. Okay, 9 XP. That's still a nice helping of XP. And then we're going to recruit a card. Here's our market. I need Earth very badly. I'm not even going to look. And then there's only 3 cards remaining, so I don't need to cycle one. That'll be our market. And we get to upgrade 2 cards. Let's look. It's not going to help us because we don't have Mender's Kit. That buffs our burnout skill. Definitely this guy. To every enemy that takes wounds from it. Oh, I love that. Okay. So that's one of our 2 upgrades. Did I just upgrade an earth element? Oh, darn it, I did. I'm just asking for trouble with light. Okay. I don't see a way around it. We did just add a light card, so maybe it's fine. Save up to 3 beacons from the location discard. Now that is also potentially very helpful. But that's the one we're going to do. Okay. Now, the whole point of that was, now we have these 2 advanced cards in our hand. We haven't resolved Blazing Torch yet. Blazing Torch says, attach X+1 fire cards to enemies in your player area. Then push X enemies. X is the number of advanced cards in your hand. So we can attach 3 fire cards because we have 2 advanced cards in our hand at the time of triggering this. And then we can push this guy. So we're definitely going to attach 3 fire cards to him. Oh man, we only have 2 in our hand. And then it gets rid of this for next time. Okay, we're only going to attach to one because I really want this card for next time. If I could have attached all 3 of these, that would have been 9 direct damage. He'd have been at 10. We're not going to kill him anyway. So what we're going to do is attach this to him per Blazing Torch and then push him also per Blazing Torch. Then there's no enemies in our player area. Who would have guessed that game state after how bad that was looking? So don't forget about being able to exhaust your 1x abilities for another activation. Because that saved us there. Maybe also set us up for failure in the future, but it saved us there. And we're gonna... Are we calling it refresh? We are. So now it's the refresh phase. Burnout's gonna deal 3 damage there. And that fire attachment stays on him. Yeah, if I'd attached this, that would have kept that on him as well. And then that would have been out of circulation, and that would have been kind of a pretty bad deal. But the other tricksy thing we're doing now is before we're even updating stuff in the refresh phase, we're going to trigger shortcut. It says if there's at least 3 progress on the location, place 3 progress on it. There's at least 3 progress, so we're going to add another 3 progress. That gets us up to 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's enough for the 6 plus the 2. And now we get to travel. Whew! And all of this darkness, all that threat goes away. We have to add 1 distance to our travel. We had scouted this earlier, so let's take our XP from this before I forget to. So that's 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 XP again. And then this will go in the discard pile. I'm just checking enemy abilities. We didn't forget anything. Okay, let's find a destination. However, we might fetch right away. And what the fetch action is a once per game effect that allows you to go travel to whatever location you want, but it costs extra. That's like a failsafe in case you're just not finding one of the final locations. You can use it on any location, but it's a once per game ability. It's going to exhaust that new location token. And the fetch action, once per game, flip the new location token when used. Your current coordinate sum must be 6+. We are barely there because that's 4 plus 2 is 6. So you have to made some progress on the map. That's actually pretty deep into the map. So we just barely meet that qualification. You have to spend 4 XP and choose any location in the deck. I think we just have to go for the boss. Our threat is in really bad shape. I don't see a better momentum state for us than right now, so we're just going to go for it. So we got to spend 4 XP. Takes us down to 6. And we're going to fetch one of the final locations. Now, it's either the Pit of Shada, 6/4, Darkwind, 4/6, or Wrath Marshes, 5/5. We are at a 4/2 location. I want to minimize my distance. We're already getting a +1 from that threat token. So 4/2, what's the closest? 4/6 would be a travel of 4 plus 1 is 5. Bad enough. A 5/5 would be a travel of 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, and then the 6/4 would be a travel of 2, another 4. So I'm just going to pick whichever location I want because they're all the same distance away. Okay, so let's find these 3. We've got the Pit of Shada, Darkwind, or Wrath Marshes. There's Darkwind. Here's the Wrath Marshes. And we're looking for the Pit. There it is finally. Okay. Where do we want to go? What does this location say? Nothing, doesn't penalize us for leaving. Okay. Upon arrival, all Shadian enemies immediately engage you. Dread enemies have +2. There's a dread, there's a dread, there's a dread. Not ideal. Not ideal. Like how scary that location is. I love this art. Okay, the Wrath Marshes. Upon arrival, either lose 2 XP or 2 light. That's not horrible. Whenever a Wraith enemy attacks, place 2 on the Treachery. This one seems the easiest to me. Even though, yeah, this one seems the easiest so far. Darkwind, look at that tower. Upon arrival, choose exhaust 1 skill or place 2 progress on the Treachery. Then place 1 progress on the Treachery for every dread enemy in play. There's a lot of dread in play. This is an easy decision. We're going to the Pit of Shada. No, sorry. We're going to the Wrath Marshes. Okay, upon arrival, we haven't arrived yet, but we're going to put it here. Put these bottom of the deck. Let's resolve our travel before we resolve the upon arrival effect. So we're at a 4-2 location. This is a 5-5, so that's 1 to the east, 3 to the south, that's 4, plus our 1 obstacle, so that's 5. So we need to advance an unbelievable 5 distance here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're way over there. Can you see that on camera? Yeah. So we need to advance the threat track 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, we just barely hit this 8 section. Darn it. We were 1 away. And then we need to advance 10 on the resistance track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm less worried about that, but still worried. Oh no. +2 distance whenever you travel, per this ongoing effect of this Treachery. Okay. So that's 1 and then 1 off the map, or off the mat, and that's +3. Man. Threat tokens, I believe. On the destination? Yeah, that's what that means. It's +3 threat tokens on the destination. I'm just going to double check though. Where is travel? You know what? My rulebook is a little outdated, so it's not going to have it. It's +3 threat tokens per space we couldn't resolve. So we resolved the 12, so that's 4 more than we were. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. We just hit the 9 area, and now that's 4 more than we were here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're into the 6 section, and now we have to add 3 threat tokens onto the location. Oh my. I don't see a way we could have not had to do that though, because we're already, like, her corruption limit is 9 and we're already at 7. So we get 2 times through the deck yet. Okay, let's resolve our upon arrival. You know what? I've been doom and gloom since like the last half of this game. So maybe it'll go 5. Who knows? Maybe this will be fine. We flip this to exhausted. That still goes on the location. Upon arrival, lose 2 XP or 2 light. I'd rather lose 2 XP, so we're down to 4. Whoops. Down to 4 XP. Okay, and now Envy is going to get ready to come out. Oh wait, she has some special setup text here. It's actually pretty cool. I'll just read it to you so I don't make you dizzy there. When you travel to a final location, which we just did, search the location deck and discard pile for Eldirith Mountains, Sheer Valley, and Terra Lake. I'm glad I at least got to the boss fight because I love showing you this with Envy. This is one of my favorite parts of this. This is my favorite part of this shade. So, Sheer Valley, Terra Lake, and Eldirith Mountains. There's Sheer Valley. There's the Eldirith Mountains. And there's Terra Lake. Let's take a look at these. We ignore their upon arrival effects, but their other effects are now active until the location is explored. They are not affected by the resistance track. Oh, actually, Envy's not going to come out right away. Where did I put her card? Right here. I'm reading it. Oh my goodness. Attach enemies in your player area to these locations divided evenly. Reveal envy at the end of the staging phase after you have explored all locations in your player area. And victory only happens once envy is defeated. To get envy to come out at all, we need to explore these locations in our player area. This is the weirdest boss fight, but it's my favorite. So let's look at these locations just for fun. Sheer Valley, we ignore the upon arrival effect, but player cards provide half their defense rounded up. Terra Lake, it costs +1 to travel here, we ignore that. 2 fewer enemies engage you each round. Cards with a wind element cost +1 light to play. Kind of a push-pull there, because we're going to have a packed quest area to have to quest over. So this might even be bad to have in play. Okay, Eldirith Mountains. Beginning after the round, you travel to Eldirith Mountains. At the start of the refresh phase, lose 1 light for every completed treachery. Oh my. So that'll be priority. We have 4 completed treacheries. Okay, so what's cool about this, these go in your player area, right, like this. And when enemies come down into our player area, they're going to attach themselves to one of these locations. And I can't attack them, but they can attack me while they're attached to locations. So I'm going to, instead of putting progress on the final location, which I don't think you need to explore to win. Victory. All locations in your player area have been explored and envy is defeated. You don't need to explore the final location. So we're going to be putting progress on these locations instead. And they come out of play when they're completed or when they're fully explored. And then all the enemies that were attached to them are eligible to be attacked. So there's a little bit of a push and pull of, because all of these have these weird effects in play while the card is in play. Like this one's cutting our defense down on our cards. This one is causing us to lose light based on completed treacheries. This is going to be a priority for us. This one causes fewer enemies to engage us, but wind cards are more expensive to play. And I'm not even so sure I like that there's fewer enemies engaging us. So we're going to try to be strategic about which enemies we attach to which of these, because who can we tolerate being out longer is kind of one of the questions. And then envy doesn't come out until you've explored all these locations. Man, she's tough. Okay, there's no enemies in our player area right now, so nothing gets attached. We're going to do the refresh phase, and then I'm going to take a break before we finish that boss fight. Wow. I'm glad we just made it to the boss fight, to be honest. I didn't think that was going to happen. So this was the mechanic that I really wanted to show you guys. So whatever happens from here on out, I still want to win, but we'll do our best. But whatever happens, I'm glad I got to show you this. Also, just for rules questions, because it's like I said, it's the weirdest boss fight. Okay, update the location. We'll take the new location token off. This is still going to collect darkness tokens for us. Produce light. We are producing 7 light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Discard your stuff. We'll do that. And then draw to your hand size. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's good. We're not advancing corruption. And ready your companion. Okay, we don't have a companion. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back to this in a bit, and we'll take on Envy's final encounter. Okay, let's keep going here and try to get this done. I have a feeling we will lose to Envy, but we're going to play it out because it looked pretty bad for a while, and we were doing better than we thought. So if I remember correctly, we had just wrapped up the refresh phase after we traveled to the final location, which brought Envy's special rules into play, where we have these locations that enemies will attach themselves to when they enter our player area. We've got a bunch of stuff in the quest area. Not much of it affects us. Actually, some of it does affect us. So that guy and that guy there. And then one thing that I didn't mention is our shade influence track here. And I might even bring that up and just remember the space we're on. So this encourages you to explore more locations. Thematically, that's one of the reasons that you want to be going on this quest, is you're sort of rooting out the influence that the shade has in the region. And one way you're doing that is by exploring different locations, and that's thematically some of what you're doing while you're at the location. It encourages you mechanically to explore more locations because we have a temporary threat increase based on our position on this track. So we explored 3 locations. So we're on this space right here. So you can see that we have, my printer didn't do a good job here, but we have +6 temporary threat on the turn the shade is revealed. So if we would have explored another one, that would have made a big difference. So we don't have to deal with it yet. Envy is a little bit of an exception because she doesn't come out like immediately. She comes out after we've explored these 3 locations. And I'm just gonna fact check myself here. Reveal Envy at the end of the staging phase after you have explored all the locations in your play area. Okay, so let's do staging. I can't afford to level up. Looks like we have a decent hand. Let's do staging. So we've got, wow. So we've got the 9, the 9 threat here. I'm checking our ongoing effects here. Oh, after traveling to one of those types of locations, put darkness or a threat token on it. I didn't pay attention to that at all when I was picking our final location, but that ended up being fine because we didn't do one of those types of locations. Okay, we've got 9 threat plus another 3. Why did I have that there? Because we went off the map when we were traveling. Okay, so we've got 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my goodness. 12 threat coming off the deck. Let's do it. Here's a flocking worm. That's 3. I'm going to set that over there. 3. So I need to get to 12. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a threatened Hillman. 7, 8, 9. A Terror Guard Warrior. Now we only have 3 remaining, so we're going from the dusk here. Darn it. This guy's going to the back. A Green Wraith, 10, 11. And this will be our last one. And of course we have a little bit extra. That's a Pyrus Lobber there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 enemies in the quest area after staging. I have never seen a quest area that full. Let's look at, make sure there were no when revealed effects. I don't see any. Okay. So I think going stealth here as much as we can is, well, no, I can't do that because they're just going to complete Treachery after Treachery. What is her Treachery limit? 6. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 completed. We're on the verge of a 5th, and another one completed is going to be the end of us, which is probably going to be how we meet our end here. We've only got 4 explore points here. But let's see what kind of shenanigans we can do. We can always exhaust some skills as well to try to do something impressive. I'm going to sort these. And I'm just paranoid. I'm going to make sure all this is getting on camera here. Looks like it is. Okay, what do we got? Heal. Disarm. We might want that one. When the Treachery is completed, gain XP. We're sitting on 4 XP. That's for growth. That's paying light to get XP. Okay, attach fire cards from your action set. That seems kind of like the aggro play that we want. If you resolve your burnout skill, deal +3 to every enemy that takes damage from it. Well, so my burnout skill is only as good as how many cards I can attach. You know, so her rules say I can't attack enemies that are attached to those locations. But it doesn't say anything about shenanigans. It doesn't say anything about I can't attach to them. It just says I can't attack them, so I can't apply my attack points to them. So my burnout skill actually might be my best bet. But my burnout skill plus blazing torch. So blazing torch, I need more advanced cards in my hand to attach more unless I do the thing. So I think let's opt to play this as just attack. I mean, this is probably our last round anyway, so let's play that as attack. We might go nuts and try to get into the... I don't really care how low we dip here because of the effect on... Which one is it here? This one. 2 fewer enemies engage you. We're going to probably try to get Eldirith Mountains first. That's all pending if we live to tell the tale here. Where's the one? There we go. So we're going to play Resourceful, attach. So this is in the refresh phase. Attach all fire cards from among your action, explore, and booster. So we can do that. Do we have a fire card? Among... We don't. So those are both our fire cards. Darn it. I wish I had... Well, no, I can attach from my discard pile because of From the Ashes. Haha! Can I play an earth element? I sure can. So that'll be my element, my booster. Okay. I mean, that's what we gotta do. So we'll see how it goes here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, no, we can't do that. Because that's gonna give us 2 wounds right here. Yeah, that's hard to see. We're in the 5 engagement section, and that's gonna give us 2 wounds in addition to spawning that Doom enemy. So I'm gonna have to retcon something here, and we're gonna say that we did some photonic healing in our rest phase. Yeah, pay 3 XP, and our rest stat is 3, so we would have paid this and healed 3. 7, 6, 5, 4. We would have had 4 left. Okay, because we need to be able to take that hit, or we just lose HP wise. Okay. Right. So that's our action set. Let's have them engage. Now I get to pick which one they go to. To the location that has the fewest enemies if tied you choose. So we have to spread them out. Okay, so we're going to have 5 engaging us, except we're only having 3 engage us because of Terra Lake has the 2 fewer enemies engage you. Cards with a wind element cost +1 to play. Just by sheer accident, I didn't play any of that. It costs +1 light to play fire as your attack or action card. Now that one it did. I'm looking at this ongoing effect on this treachery over here that luckily didn't take us into the 6 engagement section. So we'll have these guys engage and then we do the thing. So we would have 5 engaging. Per this, we have 2 fewer engaging, so we have 3 engaging. So now the question is, who am I okay with sticking around a little bit longer? Because each of these is going to go to a different location. I know I want this one gone first. Oh my. Necromage can't be on there because he's got these wonky rules where after you attack him, you can't attack any more enemies this round. And he respawns if he doesn't remove any wounds from neighboring enemies. So I'm gonna let him do his thing. I'm gonna attach him somewhere else. I'm gonna attach him to here. Okay, and then I'm gonna attach him like that. Who do I want to die first? This guy places darkness. And then the Starcaster also has a bad ability, but I think the threat token is worse. So, okay, that's engagement. Now we need to spawn a new Doom enemy who's in the back. Hoofda. I'm gonna slide these over so they're maybe in frame for you. And we're definitely losing by treachery. You can see how many are out here. Okay, that was the action set phase. Oh, and we got to take our 2 wounds. 3, 4, 5, 6. We need a fiber down here. Okay, and then it is the darkness phase. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 explore points. Do I have any skills to help me out? Help me out here. Sure. Well, shucks. If I had any XP, this discipline, ignore 1 darkness in the quest area per 2 unspent XP. That would have been helpful. But we don't have any XP. Well, we have the 1 XP. And we don't have an alert card for the kicker. I'm just looking at our skills here, making sure we've got nothing we can do about this. Okay, so we've got 4. We've got 9 explore points. We're going to cover 9 out here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we cover these 3. The rest of these guys place darkness. That's 3, 6, 10, 11, 12, 14, 17. And that's going to be, because it's another 3 to finish that one. When complete, the last 2 enemies in the quest area engage you. That is nasty. Put 1 on here and 1 on here. What did I say it was? 4. These 3 were covered. 3, 6. Yeah, we had 17. We have 14 left. I'm just going to put this out here so I can see it. We have 14 left to place. That's our 5th one completed. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's treachery loss for us because 6 completed treachery is the limit. Make sure my camera's still rolling here. Just like quick post-mortem on the game. I'm super happy with how we played. Because that's a hard difficulty for me. I have a hard time winning on high radiance, and so we were playing just above high radiance. Normally I'm playing on like a 13, and we played a 17 because we had 3 for the hard mats, and we had an additional 4 for Shadow Pride, who ended up being a bigger problem than I thought, because once she came out into play, she seemed less dangerous to me when she wasn't in play. I almost should have just let her be. Well, no, I couldn't because my threat got too high. What killed us near the end was we got stuck in that one location. Can't remember which one it was. It might have been the arid desert. We got stuck here, and it loaded us up on threat, and that was the Pride Shadow issue there, where I think we had like 5 or 6 darkness tokens, threat tokens on the location. Other than that, I felt like we played well. We leaned into our strengths here because the synergy between Temperance and Scorchite is clearly the fire keyword, or the fire trait, which buffs that bright sword. I thought we struck a decent balance with keeping some XP on hand while leveling up. I think maybe next time if I could think through it a little better, I felt pretty limited by Blazing Torch because I wanted to be, if you're doing Blazing Torch well, you're attaching a bunch of fire cards and you're pushing a bunch of enemies so that they can just burn up in the quest area and not attack you. And so I think I maybe needed to be more aggressive on this ability growth track so that I could have more advanced cards in my deck, and that way this Blazing Torch keys off of that, so I could have attached more cards and been doing better that way. As it was, we did a decent job managing the various loss conditions because it felt like treacheries, corruption, and HP death were all pretty balanced because we were close to HP death a few times. That made us play suboptimally, which is good. I was glad to see the game do that to us. And we unfortunately had to let some treacheries go off, but that's how we got away from that location eventually. and then Corruption I think would have got us in the end anyway. So very cool to see that, you know, if the Treacheries didn't get us this round, something else would have got us, probably the HP. So cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm just gonna make sure we're still rolling here. Yeah, I had fun. I'm glad I got to show you the end game. I would recommend not playing on that hard of a difficulty, at least not right away. Although I know some of the playtesters are just excellent card game players, and they can play on that difficulty and maybe do a little better than I did. But as it stands, I tend to hang around that 10 or 13 difficulty. So you'll find what works for you. That's why I included a lot of those different settings in the rulebook. And yeah, well, this was fun. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.